Hey guys, what's going
Hello.
on? What the heck are we still doing here, Hatter? I thought we left this party behind. What's
I know
what's
we can't leave each other, buddy. We're destined. We're like the Batman and the Joker.
this?
We're
This is right.
destined to do this dance.
That's right. The good cop, bad cop. We're destined to play this
Are you the
little
good cop or am
little
I the
game.
good?
I
Who's the
am
good?
definitely the bad cop. I'm definitely
Oh, you're the bad cop.
I'm the loose cannon, man. I'm the loose cannon. You never know what's actually going to happen. I mean, like we saw that at San Diego. Anything can happen here.
I know. Remember when you fought that guy? You just
Oh
fucking
God.
punched him because he looked at you
He
wrong. That
had
was
no
fucking.
idea. Yeah,
That
he
was
did
wild.
not know who he was effing with, man. Like that was
No,
that was
that was
just
crazy, man.
the way it
That was
was.
crazy.
Hatter, how's it been, brother? Like the weekend's been good. Like you doing okay? Like everything.
The weekend is a good weekend. Okay, it hailed here.
What the
Hailed
hell?
in California.
You were
I
not
don't
gonna. You lost power. You lost internet. We were not even thinking we were gonna be able to do this show. Like it was.
I thought we weren't gonna. It was hailing. It was like some biblical shit.
What?
Like hail. When does that happen? So I don't know. I took it as a sign. I don't know. Maybe it
That's
is a
like
sign for something.
that's like Sunday
Jay.
here in Canada. Snow, hail. It's all the same.
Yeah, but we've been doing good. You and I have been working very hard behind the scenes on our
Yeah.
own thing.
Yeah.
We're not gonna talk about a certain character that you and I have been working, but we've been diligently trying to get that
I
together.
I,
But
I
that's not
think
what this stream is about.
it's not, but I will say that, and then we'll just take a quick moment, everybody. Don't sleep on this. You only it's like things are selling out at Big Bad Toy Store. Like if you sleep on this is not a good idea,
Oh, dude,
right?
I refreshed Big Bad Toy Store like 2 hours ago. There is literally one thing left of
I know
every flip
it's
ore.
it's
Like,
crazy.
it's
It's crazy.
crazy. And they bought a bunch. I don't know what like. There's literally like if you hit because you hit the drop down. So usually you hit the drop down, it'll tell you like 20 or something left. Literally, there's like one left of everything. So the next one is the one that sells. It's
You
crazy.
know, just because seriously, if you guys are sleeping on this, you're going to miss out.
Yeah, dude, hit
Literally,
refresh.
hold on. Literally, sold out, sold out, sold out, sold out, sold out, sold out. What's this pickle thing doing here? What the hell's that?
I don't know what the pickle thing. Did we make
The only
pickles?
things, look, we're down to 3 figures left. We're down to 3 figures left, guys. This is absolutely nuts. So hitting refresh, yeah, we got to be careful on this one. But yeah, man,
Yeah, and
there's
if you go like into it,
yeah,
like go to like the flake bot or something.
yeah. Hold on, let's go to the flake bots, and then we go quantity. Holy crap! There's
Yeah,
only
it's
one
just the
left.
one. It's just the one. So like, so BBTS is almost out. So
Oh my god!
and I think same thing with this one.
Yeah, they're all, there. Oh my god, you're right. Holy crap! There are only 3 left
I'm
of
telling you,
perfect
I,
gold.
I only learned of this a few hours ago.
Oh my god. Oh my god, this is crazy. Okay. Anyway, we can't keep this up. We're not here to talk about this. Not really, but we'd be amiss if we didn't talk about it. No, we're here to talk about monsters, bro.
Not only are we here about
We're
not,
gonna
not only are we here to talk about monsters, okay? Because other people have talked about monsters, okay? Monsters have been with us for a while. They've been in the culture for a while. Universal monsters, all kinds of monsters. Monsters, Monsters Inc. But then what about the next
yeah,
level
these
of
aren't Pokemon.
monsters?
These aren't Pokemons.
These
Okay,
are these are
these
these are not these are monstors.
that's right.
Okay, which is the
Monster.
next. This is a hybrid. Now we're going to the next level, and we have some special guests.
We
We have
do.
two special guests, Jayski.
We
Okay,
do.
and you and I are big fans of independent toys.
Oh,
Okay,
gee, I wonder.
right. But these are like independent toys by a few vetted individuals. Okay, they're not like me who just fell off the Apple truck and just like I want to make a figure and then like caught the bus to Figureland. These guys have been in the zeitgeist for a while, which is why the work is so fucking good. Let's face it. I'm kind of annoyed at how good the designs are. Actually, I kind of wanted to
Absolutely, yeah.
mention that to them.
100%.
But Jay, do you want to introduce? Look. First of all, look at this beautiful thumbnail with these amazing. Can I say something before you bring them in?
Sure.
This is one that like I caught this. I had without knowing. So I have a bunch of like Tweeterhead stuff. I have like statues and stuff like that. So I'm obviously a fan. Like I think all of them up until now. Without knowing that the guy behind this was part of it, I just saw these at a convention. And I don't know, you've been to these conventions, like it was like Designer Con. There's a lot of shit to see. So it's hard to stand out from the pack. But I remember like telling my wife, I was like, I want to go take a second look at this thing. And then I did. And then, of course, lo and behold, it was made by the same person that I've been fucking buying statues from. And it was one of these things where I was like, of course I like this. And so I'm very excited about this. I think that this scratches like an itch that we'll talk about but let's bring our lovely guests in.
Yeah,
and let's hear them, because they don't want to hear us fucking talk.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've been waiting, and I'm excited about this. I really am. First, let's bring in our very special guest. Guys, this is a really big treat for us. First, we'll bring in Erwin Popham. What's going on, brother? How you doing tonight?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having us.
Brother. Like, very excited to have you here.
Shows.
100%.
And congratulations on Flipboard, and also sorry to hear about Krang.
Erwin, do you want to film Krang? I'll sell him real cheap. Okay, I like pennies on the die. I don't know what to do with it.
I like to know that it's on your shelf.
And of course, we've been buttering them up for a little while. Guys, please help us welcome David Ego, man. How's it going, brother?
Hi.
He's got the hair going on. I got to let my hair loose one day. It's going to happen. Good to see you guys. Welcome. How was the weekend, man? I mean, we got hail over here. Any other biblical, like, did you guys get frogs or locusts or anything in your neck of the woods? Like,
Erwin, what'd you have?
Oh, no, it's just very hot. It's in Lakewood. It says 84 degrees, but it feels like 200.
Oh my god!
I think up to like 106 up in Northridge, which is like, I went to Vegas the weekend like 2 months ago, where it was like 115 degrees outside, and at least it's a dry heat. Let's say that. If it was humidity, I would just be like, no, thank you. But it could be worse. It's hot, and I have AC and I just stay inside. I'm a cold weather guy. So I don't know why I moved out to LA. I'm kind of an idiot, so it helps.
We all are.
Well, you can come up to Canada. It's pretty cold up here.
I lived in Canada for a year and a half, and I loved it. I was in Vancouver, British Columbia, because of Vancouver Film School. So yeah, before the Olympics.
It doesn't actually snow over there, So you got to come to Toronto. That's where.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. By the way, I loved the amount of tabs you had open in your window with the Monsters thing. I was like 80 million.
Those are just in case. Those are just in case. We'll only get to whatever it is we get to, because there's some cool treats we have.
10 of them are Pornhub, and then another 15 are X video. Okay, sorry.
Hatter's giving away all the secrets here. How are you guys? Like, other than weather and biblical references and all this stuff, how's it been going for you guys? Erwin, how you been doing? Well,
it's been well, staying busy on top of just a bunch of projects. That's about it. Always busy, always procrastinating.
I love the soft-spoken nature of Mr. Papa here. David, how about yourself? What have you been up to, my friend?
I've been freaking out. Near knows this. I've been texting him like, "What am I doing?" He's like, "Calm down." I mean, it's like it goes live on Tuesday. It's like, am I insane? Am I just delusional? Am I like that one person on American Idol that thinks they're going to Hollywood and everyone nationally is watching going, "Dude, you suck," just like, so I'm just like, let's go. So it's like having to hype myself up a little bit. Well, last night and this morning was like the biggest like roller coaster ride. And I finally was just like,
dude, it's gonna be a roller coaster ride the whole fucking time. But I think like these designs, again, like without knowing anything about like where you were from, or just, you know, before I connected it to you, I was saying like this kind of like was the first thing to make me think of like, you know, like you look at like, unfortunately to say, like you look at like different Kickstarters and you're like going like, what can they do in like the market? But like, I'm just trying to think of the last time I saw something that really kind of like touched on that like old school like Playmates, like wild, like kind of like art style. And I would love to kind of like give you the platform and just be like, was that an inspiration, or was that like, where did that come from? And you know, was it always going to be a Kickstarter? Like we would like, Jay and I would love to kind of like also get, because these are questions that I didn't even ask you. It's just like, how did you get to this fucking point where you were like just trying to come up with this? Because it's the aesthetic is awesome.
Thanks. So I mean, like, you know, I've known Erwin for, I don't know, like 10 years now or something like that. I forgot how we even met. It felt like the convention circuit or whatever. And when I found out about his art, I didn't know he was an artist. And I saw his art. I was like, what the hell? And he had originals for sale. So every time I saw him, sometimes he didn't even have a booth. I was like working, like at the time I was at Sideshow Collectibles, and I'd be working a sideshow booth at Monster Palooza. And I was like, hey, Erwin. He's like, hey, man. You just come up to the booth. And I was like, do you have any of your artwork on you? And he would just pull out like this thing of originals. I would just flip through, be like, I want this, and just buy them and snag them. So I've always loved Erwin's art. And I feel like we heavily overlap with our like inspiration stuff we like. And there's also like a little bit of a separation. Like I like that our Venn diagram isn't like a perfect, you know, full moon or whatever, like eclipse. It's like there's a little bit of separation, and he brings something to stuff that has this like that energy of stuff that just makes me happy. And when you work at companies with a, like, I mean, working at like in the industry for 18 years, I worked at Gentle Giant Studios for 3 years, first job, in-house designer. I was at Sideshow Collectibles 10 years, designer turned art director. Then Tweeter had the last 5 years or 4 years as a creative director. You know, you're used to like making stuff for other people. You're like, you either have to answer, there's basically 3 people you're answering to, the collectors and fans, which is the biggest one, then your bosses, and then the licensor. So it's kind of like you're always making something for someone else. And then when the pandemic hit, you know, I lost my job at Sideshow. I was there for 10 years, and like it was like right before the pandemic. So the pandemic hit, and I was commissioning my buddy Paul Komoda to do some designs and sculpts little figures for me, like little like Keshi size things. And then I was like looking at my toy collection of like He-Man, Ninja Turtles, all this weird shit. And I was like, man, what's this stuff in here that makes me happy? Like, what's the formula for what makes me happy? What are the things that I want different? I just realized I love all the He-Man villains. I don't like a lot of the good guys because all the villains are cool creatures. I like a lot of the Ninja Turtles, but I don't like when they wear basketball shoes or whatever. You know, so I'm like, I like animal things. I love the buff warrior fantasy barbarian things. So like, I just stewed on that. And like, you know, it was like at the time of the pandemic where like you'd be outside walking your dog and you're still like wearing a mask outside. It was like that early on, you know, we were like, oh, I have to wear a mask outside. And I was with my wife, Kelly, and I was just thinking, I'm like, I think I want to mix like a shark with a bull. I want a shark with bull horns. And then I was like, because I don't have a shark. Like, I mean, I have like kind of I have street sharks and stuff, but not like He-Man style. So I'm like, now the one Funko that they did of like King Shark, which is awesome. But like, so I was thinking about that. I'm like, what would make them jealous? I started thinking like, oh, the 2 animals hybriding. Oh, the buff barbarian thing. So I just started thinking of these ideas, and I like texted Erwin. I'm like, do you have time for a call? I want to like work on some shit with you. So we talked on the call, and I was like, dude, I have this idea. I want to mix. At this time, it kind of like gelled. I was like, I want a killer whale cow because the black and white I thought was the gel of the 2 animals.
Yeah.
I get my sea creature guy with horns, and that's like all I knew. And then Erwin was like, oh yeah, dude, you could like lean into like the hoofed feet, you know, you can give him like webbed hands and like fins on his elbows. And he was like, at the time, I think he was gonna like, he did a design which is in some of the stuff I sent you guys. I think he gave him like an udder at one. Maybe I didn't send it to you, but he tried an udder on the stomach. I'm like, well, that'll make it a girl. I want to do like a guy. So we we nixed the udder. That'll be a variant in the future. I'll do an udder
an udder on the.
you know how they do like the first appearance Ninja Turtles like toys and stuff now.
Sure,
We're gonna
yeah,
have down the line. We're gonna do a first Irwin Papa design of Shamumu with the udders on it, where it was a girl. But Irwin and I talked for like an hour about like that was one idea I had. Then I'm like, I want a scorpion. No, I want a cobra snake guy because I have scale tail and I love him, but he can't stand because of that weird tail. He's like always leaning this one way. So I'm like, I want a legged snakehead guy. And then I'm like looking at claw. I'm like, I love claw. So give him a claw. So scorpion tail. So that's why I gave Irwin. And then we just had like an hour talk of like all these other animal ideas. We're like an owl. What about something with a hippo? You know, we just went crazy. But we landed on Shamumu as the first one. And then he just started designing. And that's where it kind of started sorry to ramble, but you asked like, was it the idea of doing a Kickstarter was just a thing? It was just a thing. I just want, like, in my mind, I would pay Irwin to design something. I would have a drawing. And if it went somewhere, maybe I would sculpt it, pay a friend to sculpt it. I would just 3D print it and have it.
Yeah.
And it just kept going. And that was like late 2020, early 2021 when we started.
Was it always going to be, because I know you from like the statue world. I have statues that you designed. Was it always going to be sort of something that you want to do as an action figure, or was it like, did you even have like a format in mind at that time, or you're just like kind of like, I want to see what this fucking looks like, and then after that I'll kind of like
I think it was just I think it was like I wanted to go with my toys. So whether it was actually like gonna be plastic or just gonna be a 3D print and then it was just painted to look cool, because I have a couple like resin made, like I have one of my favorites. I got like the Skeleton Warrior Ninja Turtle.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Love this guy, but like his feet don't stand too well. He's got like magnetic arms, which are great, but like there's some things like when he lifts his sword, it like just hits his head, but it's kind of charming how weird it is. He's like, Like, I was like, you know what? If I made like a little 3D print of this guy and got him painted, I would just have it. Then I would just print one for Irwin because Irwin's a bud, Sorry, my slash is trying to jump off the building. But yeah, it was just it's one of those things I do with like when I worked with Paul Komodo, my little Keshi figures, I paid him to design and sculpt it, and I got some castings. I gave him some, like, thank you. Here's some for you too. Let's all enjoy this cool stuff. So with Irwin, it's gonna be the same thing. And even like the very first 3D printed prototype, I got 2 of them made because I thought it would look cooler on display at that first designer con. And then I kept one, I gave the other one to Irwin, and that was like Shamumu 1.0. And then we updated the sculpt.
I feel like there's been a lot of changes because I saw them at, what designer con was it? Was it
this last one?
This 2023, right? Yeah. I remember.
It's almost our 1 year anniversary, Near. It's almost there.
I don't know. They really that Shamumu just kind of and it was one of those things when I did that that I did a walkthrough on the channel, and there were a lot of people that were like, what's going on with those fucking designs? What's going on with they were thinking the same thing I was thinking. Because let's face it, there's a lot of like, I'm not going to say crap, but there's a lot of like filler stuff in these places. And a lot of the times it's not even for our audiences. So I'm not, it's just stuff that like, you go there and it's like, it's okay, whatever. But like, that was one where I got lit up. Where people were just like, and I'm like, yeah, I'm way ahead of you. I'm trying to fucking find out myself, assholes. Let me cook. And then we started getting. I mean, look at these, man. Look at these fucking designs. I mean, it's if you are like a fan of just like that throwback and just like why, like these are just wild. I'm fucking like, I'm falling in love all over again just looking at these.
Thanks, man. So those are actually version 1. So those aren't even like that's not even what you saw. So this is DesignerCon 2021.
Okay, yeah, I definitely saw it in color with the first time. Yeah.
So also this is one when we got 3D printed, Irwin and I after DesignerCon, and those are the little minifigures I was talking about that actually kind of started it all. I just wanted a little Keshi. I wanted a Gillman. So that one on the left was like the first thing I commissioned Paul Komodo to design and sculpt for me. And I was like, that's cool. Let's do a Cthulhu next. And dude, these things are, he did those in super sculpting, and they're like 2.5, 3 inches tall. They're insane.
So fucking detailed, man.
Yeah. So that was kind of like kind of almost the beginning of Monstors was those things. So it was like Cthulhu, then Krabby, because I don't like the number 2. I'm a weirdo. So I'm like, 3 would be a cool trilogy set or trio set. So yeah, Paul did those, and I had those resin castings on. So then I brought those 3D prints of Shamumu. And then after the show, Erwin and I went down to a coffee shop near where he lives, and we looked at them together, and we're just like, went over all the, like, what we think we could push. And Erwin had great notes of like making the feet a little bit more exaggerated, pushing some detail here and there. And then when I was doing a test on the Sting Cobra sculpt, which wasn't at this show, but was like in ZBrush Digital Land at this time, we went back and we're like, let's try the heads on each other. And, you know, Shamumu's head was too big on Sting Cobra, so we actually shrunk the head a little tiny bit, which is really hard for me to get over, because once you get used to seeing something a certain way, I kind of hate change. I'm like, oh, I don't want to change it. So that's actually what these photos are. You'll see, I think there's like version 1. That's version 2, I think.
Okay.
And then there's version 3. So version 3 is actually what we're going to production with, which we haven't shown yet.
This one
yes,
is,
that's
okay, so this was not the last one that I had seen in the last one. That was version 2.
1 second, Jay. This one's version 1. You can even see the arm tattoo, how the little tiny triangles are like super tiny. So like Erwin and I were like, let's make those bigger, you know, like let's make them bit so they read at 5.5 inch scale.
Sure.
And push in the details. And even like the cowbell, you can see is kind of crisp looking. I'm like, that looks too crisp. We want to ding it up. So the next image kind of shows how we pushed some of the detail on all that stuff. You can see like the detail on the cowbell. The arms we actually made round too, because it was oval. We just try to make it look more real, you know. That's one. Even we added some tattering to the stash. But then when we were working on Sting Cobra separately, Sting Cobra got really detailed. I'm like, I think we could push the detail on this a little bit more without going too crazy. So the next one so this is the brand new one, and it's not like anything insane, you know, but like you can see there's like scarring on his legs. We didn't have that before, and on his arm. So we just want to make it look like he's lived in this world a bit more. Like even the sash is a little bit more textured. And
I think one of the things that a lot of people are responding to about this aesthetic is that sometimes you'll see like figures that are, I mean, don't kill me, but for lack of a better word, cartoony, right? Like a cartoony aesthetic versus like, when I say cartoony, I mean like versus like something, let's say like Savage Crucible, right? Which is kind of like realism or even like the tweeter headline, like it's like Motu, but like with realism, right? Yeah. What I liked about this, I think what I responded to is the template of this was like cartoony and big and vivid, almost like what you would like think of like the Super 7 approach to like, let's say Playmates, right? But it offset all of that with like really nice like detail. It had the detail of like one of these like Mesco type figures, you know, with like all of the shit inside it, but with that big like vivid like aesthetic, which I think it like made it pop. And I think like even going into that direction more, if you can maintain all of those details, which I mean, it sounds like you will, like it's gonna really just stand out, I think, in the market. Because I mean, Jade, like, can you think of? I can't really think of something that I can directly compare it to. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, there's a lot of things coming out of Japan as always, right? Kaiju is a big influence down there, but nothing like this. Nothing which is like a cow with a shamu with a whale and things like that.
Yeah, it's just wild.
It is what it is. Absolutely
wild aesthetic.
Absolutely. Right. I mean, you have like Monster Hunter and you have all these other properties which are going in directions, right? But those are like creatures who have lived for tens of thousands of years. These ones, they definitely, let's not beat around the bush. Let's just say it, because a lot of people are responding to it. Like you said, it's a cartoony sort of look in a sense that these are fun. I think that's the biggest difference. I love the Savage, exactly what you said. I love Savage Crucible, but they are looking like those guys are going to go to war and they're going to freaking mutilate each other or whatever. But it's set in a sort of realistic type of framework. This one looks like, again, it's kind of like Ninja Turtles and kind of like all these properties like Thundercats and all these, like you said, like a lot of the inspiration comes from so many different places, but they just look like a lot of fun, right? And even the way they smile, the way they look, like this little guy, like guys, tell us about this little guy, like who hey, where'd he go?
Well, little big guy.
Yeah,
All
no,
those
I was looking
tabs,
for-
man. How do you keep track of them? You know?
it is hard, I gotta tell you, but this little guy, I just had him a second ago. Give me 1 second, guys.
Are you talking about the little pets that come with
Little buddies.
Yeah,
that's the one I'm bringing up right now. Check out this little guy right here. This little guy, like, he freaks me out.
Yeah.
I love him. I love the smile. I love the, like, that's the goofy kind of Joker type of thing right there that really adheres to people.
No, this is
like,
like it's shit like this that, I mean, you guys, we're all around the same age. You remember like shit like Liquid Television?
Oh yeah,
or even like what's is it Krasinski, like the Ren and Stimpy, like
exactly,
like it just has that like it's like this rock and roll, like crazy, like the one big fucking eye with the like everything just looks like a fucking fever dream.
Yeah.
And so I think like, but that's a great direction to go to, because like a lot of times stuff is conceptualized that way. Dude, how many times like, you know, like that sounds great in the room, but then once they get into production, they keep it nice and safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like what I like about these is they don't feel like they're like nice and safe. It's just like it's just very wild. It's like a very vivid kind of style.
Two things, and Erwin can talk more about this too, but when we were talking early on, so we were talking like ideas of mashups, then we were talking about design aesthetics for like the overall look. And Erwin and I totally two of our overlapping passions are Ed Roth, Rat Fink, that whole world, and then Venom.
Yes.
Two things Erwin singled out that I love is just like big expressive faces with like bulging eyes, big mouths, and then also really expressive hands, like the Rat Fink thing with like the gnarly pinky and stuff like that.
Rat Fink.
Yeah.
Exactly. Those are the types of things that come into my head right now. Somebody just mentioned Todd C just said it's like grown-up Skylanders. Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
But with a bit of psychotic tendencies to it. You know, it's like we were talking about. You know, with Ren and Stimpy, they look normal. Then all of a sudden, Ren loses his mind, and he's beating up on Stimpy, and you know, all the expressions, all the faces. It's that kind of world that these seem to inhabit, and it's really wild, and exactly what
Rat Fink is actually a great, like, it invokes a great kind of like art aesthetic when you say that. It's like because everybody knows what that means. It means like just batshit crazy, tongue is out, you know, like the eyes. It's like it just cocaine. I always think of cocaine. I mean, I think of
Erwin. Is that what you were thinking? Like how did you come up with it? How did you?
I'm always thinking of cocaine, Jay. Is that
I like the style of Rat Fink and the Ed Roth. It's just so exaggerated that there was a lot to play with, and then like mixing that with TMNT as like an extension of all the stuff that we like with TMNT. There's those core TMNT characters that I think everybody likes. Muckman, Mutagen Man, who's the dragon guy, Hothead.
Oh, dragon guy? A little flex here. This guy's pretty cool. Jeez. Not, you know.
and just those huge proportions. Even it's almost an extension of He-Man, because I think a lot of the sculptures that from He-Man went over to TMNT did that, and you can kind of see the evolution from the standard stock He-Man buck to the exaggerated, beefed up anatomy of the turtle stuff. The later waves of the turtle stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we want to play in.
Yeah.
The Deadheads brings up a great one. A nice nod to the 90s Earthworm Jim figures and how they came with pets and buddies. Like, seriously. Like, whenever if anybody grew up in the 90s and played with Earthworm Jim, you know, that was just another one of those Ren and Stimpy kind of games where, you know, if you don't catch all the puppies, the little
trampoline thing.
He mutates into this. He mutates into this monster freaking dog and starts like killing Earthworm Jim, right? I think that's the kind of psychotic nature that thing. But
Yeah,
I get excited with what this line is and what it can be. Like I think like I really want this Kickstarter to just go and go big, because like I think that just having, I don't know, like just these big, vivid. Because the other thing is, somebody was mentioning about like line integration. Like a lot of us like figures that can go with other figures. You know what I mean? Like it's so it doesn't live on its own island. I think if you're like, again, like a turtle fan, or there's Earthworm Jim figures, that there's a lot of different things that are out there, and I think this can live with those things. It can live kind of like in its own space, and like the detail on these things is just so. I mean, there's been so much, like you guys really do a lot of like passes. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of like grinding. Like you could tell, like it's not like first thought theater where it's just like just get it together and get it out there. It's like there's a lot of like where, like, yeah, when you do that transition between the old and the new, there's just a lot of passes on this.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me mad in a way, because I'm like, fuck, should we have been doing so many passes? And that, you know what I mean? I'm just like, did we just phone it in? But like, no, it just looks fucking. I just love the detail, man. I can't wait to. And David showed me just his book of like just things that might be coming, and just some of the ideas. And I don't know, I don't want to blow up your spot, Dave, so it might not be a thing to talk about, but like there's just so many of these like crazy. There's one that like is, I'm not gonna mention it, but
you can
he's
say
white.
which one. No, which one? Which one?
The bear.
Oh, Berserker. Yeah, no, he's in the sticker pack, man. Yeah, we got
okay.
This is Erwin's third character he worked on. Bear made of bears, baby.
This one is like one of my
Holy
favorites.
crap.
This bear made of bears. Like if this isn't like fucking like rat fink, like just like art that you could put on a van or something, or on a fucking like for like a band. Like I don't know what is, man.
I love it.
Also, keep in mind with that bear character, along with the Steam Cobra and Shamumu, there's interchangeability.
See, that was my next question.
That was
my next question, because here, you sort of hinted that, if we go back here, I was looking at this shot and I was like, wait a second, what's going on here, right? We got the head and the arms, right? What's happening here? Like I was like, this is something else is happening, right? So I was thinking, it was like, are these kind of like interchangeable, like what they're doing with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles right now, where
one thing I was like, so actually Monstors started like as a very different thing. This is actually the first time Erwin and I shared a booth together, was when I think it was 2019 PowerCon. Tweeterhead was gonna have a booth and they dropped out, and Val was like, hey, do you want to just take over the booth? I'm like, sure. Hey, Erwin, you want to share this booth with me? And this is way before this Monstors, but I was working my own, like I think it's in the thing, Jay, if you want to show up. But it was like my original idea of what I want to do for Monstors was like, it was called Monstors version 1. Now it's called version 1. But it was like, I just made like a generic, like buff dude body. And then I threw this Frankenstein head I sculpted on it to see what it would look like. I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's like a He-Man buff body. Yeah, this thing. And I was like, that's kind of funny looking. So this is a sculpt I did years ago. And I 3D printed it, and then I did scale arms and hairy arms. I took this Krampus I did from something else and threw it on there for the hairy arms, and a Triceratops head for the scaly head I made from scratch. So this is the original inception of Monsters. So all the body parts swaps. It's like, or this, or this, or this. And so you could have Frankenstein with hairy arms, or Triceratops with not scaly arms or what. And then I would do feather arms maybe. And the idea was, my idea at that time was like, oh, it would be a website and you would make to order full figures or body parts in any color you want. And it would all just be 3D print on demand. So if you're like, I want this and this and this, boom, 3D print it, ship it to you, and they'd all interchange and work. But I was happy. It was a fun exercise. That was a full design sculpt myself. That was kind of a fun anatomy study, but there's things that were kind of like bug me with it. But I sold like 20 of them, like, and brought So my basic color was gonna be buff body bronze, and that's like when you think of like bodybuilders, you know, like so that was like that
Ah, the
bronze.
bronzer.
Yeah, so that was like
That's-
so, and that's a 3D print material. So it's like, oh, I have this bronze, I have this glow in the dark, so that giant Cthulhu, and then I was gonna have a big body. So that was gonna be Cthulhu as the first one. Then it would have wings. So the big guys would have wings. I'd do a dragon head or a bow, like a demon head. So that'd be the big body. And you can print in any color you want. So like I printed a Triceratops in glow in the dark. I printed a Krampus in black, all black. So it was fun. But like at a certain point, I'm like, this is gonna be a nightmare to manage all these different files. Like I started working like a double torso, so you could have Goro arms, like 2 sets of arms. I did like a 2-head body, so you can get different heads and plop them on there, so it'd be like 2 bad. So that's actually where Berserker came from. Was I always liked that idea of 2 heads. So I pitched Erwin the idea of like a 2-headed bear, and his name was Bi Bear. It was a dumb name, but I was like, Bi Bear, and he's like, or Bear Claw. And then everyone's like, what about Berserker? I'm like, that's way better than what I came up with. So, and then he's like, what if we did like a giant head on the torso, and then the 2 heads here are the ones that are swappable. So we made it a 3-headed bear, and then we were like going to make it super asymmetrical. So like one arm's giant, one arm's a little bit smaller. So that was kind of like where some of my original ideas from Monsters 1.0 kind of like bled into like what is now Monsters. And that's something I'm trying to bring with this too, is not make it just a toy line, but like it's a brand. And how does the branding have stuff that clicks? So with like the ors of Monsters, supposed to be like the or this, or this, or this. You just keep mixing and matching. And I just thought like when Erwin's color design is insano. So when he did color designs for Shamumu Sting Cobra, the idea of putting like a bright Sting Cobra armor on Shamumu, and then the head swapping, all that stuff, and thinking about Berserker and all his weird colors, just like it's a tagline in the thing now is like the more monsters you get, the more monsters you can make. So it's just like it becomes like indefinite, like it just like becomes. And I know it's common with toys now is like all the like I know like all the Motu Origins figures, they all like you swap, make your own, but it's not really part of like the branding. It's like, oh, you can do this. But with this, it's like an important part of the like the marketing, the branding, the brand identity is that. And so it was a idea for the toy first. And then when I was working on an out, like, I can't help but think of a story. I'm like, how do I make that work in a story? So that's been a fun challenge, is like how to make that work narratively. And
because in Master Universe it's just an actual gimmick. Like nobody actually changes arms in the Motu universe, right? It was just a fun thing, which actually really worked out for Mattel, because Mattel, when they were reintroducing them into the kids market, half the time the kids literally didn't even have to be told. They were literally just popping them off and interchanging them. A lot of the pictures I see Motu parents sharing is half their kids' creations with Motu characters, and that's been a lot of fun.
That's cool.
And of course, we're getting into that. Yesterday, we had a showcase of sorry, not yesterday, the day before, we had a showcase of a Flipboard, and Ace literally in 2 seconds mashed together a crazy Flipboard with like one leg from gold, one leg from glow in the dark, one arm. So yeah, the interchangeability has become a really big thing in the toy space. So, but then when you add a story element to it, that you're just changing the game right now. Like because
that's an interesting endeavor to introduce their interchangeability in the lore. Like I haven't seen. You know what I mean? Like it would be a fun. That would be just a fun challenge. I mean, something like that is hard. It's not easy. But if the property itself or the story or the tone is batshit crazy anyway, then fuck it. You know what I mean? I do want to mention Ryan Dole said that those bears do exist in Canada, so you obviously didn't make it up. You stole it. So
they hide under your porch too. Yeah,
exactly. I thought you created that, David and Erwin, but obviously
we're thieves. We're just
you passed it off. You tried to pass it off like you made it up, but
they show up when you least expect it. We got a lot of questions. We got a lot of comments and questions coming in. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Oh my gosh. Really quickly, Big M is in the house. Justin Mohan, Frankie Rivera, Nolan. What's going on, my friend? Wolverine Ortiz. Oh my gosh, lots of Lord Hoagie, Frankie again. Lots of people here. Jason Lego, Fran Captain America, Derek Kuto, Justin Mohan,
What's up,
Brick
Jay?
Something is in the house. What's going on, Brick?
What's up, Rick?
Good to see you, brother. Hal Jordan.
What's up?
Everybody's here, man. Like lots of great familiar faces. But thank you guys for being here. MKF30, Deadheads. Guys, thank you for being here. Philip McVan and Christopher Negri's in the house as well. And we got lots of questions, guys. This is crazy. Brick Something. Hi, folks. These Monstors are some of the coolest and fun characters I've ever seen in a while. Super dynamic looking and clever as hell. All the little details. I love it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, he's awesome.
MKF30 says, "Hey, it's the TMNT guy."
Who's the TMNT guy?
TMNT guy.
Which one?
There's all these guys. Derek Kuto, damn guys, I didn't know you were here. Had her done get the middle hands with the bots if we ordered in time? Yes. The answer is always yes.
Love his thumbnail. Is that the Tweeterhead Skeletor bus?
It is the Tweeterhead Skeletor.
Look at that.
Of course.
Derek, wait, actually, Derek, when you say order in time, just to clarify, the middle fingers were in the early bird. Is that when you ordered? If
Correct.
not, let me know.
Derek's trolling. Derek's trolling. He was there since the first day. I don't even know why
he was. Okay, then of course you get middle fingers right up there. I would love to see. We're seeing a lot of black and whites. I want to see some color.
We will for sure. I just wanted to get some of these questions.
No, I want to see it now.
No, let's definitely get there. Let's see
right
here.
now, Jay. Let's go.
Pretty much, right?
Jeez, it's Sunday night. Let's party. You know?
100%.
I'll work tomorrow morning.
Justin Mohan, will there be any sci-fi aspects to this toy line, like cybernetic animals, ground chuck from TMNT, just as an example?
So Erwin and I talked early on about kind of like one of the worst things you can do for a creative person is kind of like give them a blank canvas and a blank check. I know that might sound like asinine craziness, but then you just you spin a bit and you don't really know where to go. You need some like boundaries and you need to figure out hey, just you can't mix all the ingredients when you're cooking. Otherwise just get like weird stuff. Yeah, sure. The first person put peanut butter and jelly together was like a genius ahead of their time, but every once in a while you're like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't eat Sour Patch Kids and have, like an IPA beer. Those don't go well together. So it's like,
what? Fuck you, man.
You could, but it's a choice. It's a choice, But so Erwin and I talked early on when I was telling him these are the things I'm thinking about is I don't want to do tennis shoes, modern clothes, anything like that. And I want to keep it more on the tribal barbaric kind of angle of things. So they just bludgeon each other to death, if they fight and stuff. And then I was thinking though, I want to keep it open to the idea of technology down the road. And how do we introduce technology in this world narratively? Just how do we introduce the swapping arms? And how do we introduce dinosaurs? Because there's a couple dinosaur characters we have planned.
Oh, and dinosaur characters would be fucking wild in this style, man.
That's
size. Oh, I haven't gotten that one before. I'm honored for sure. Tom Sizemore, I'll take it. I know from Heat, right? Is that Tom Sizemore? He's in Heat, isn't he?
Tom Sizemore.
Yeah,
Tom from Saving Private Ryan.
I got Meatloaf on the last live. I was on oh, Michael looks like Meatloaf. I was like, no, I don't. I look like Meatloaf. What are you talking about? It's weird because I'm not really a big social media person. I'm on Facebook, but every once in a while a memory comes up. It's you 8 years ago, and I'm like, don't show me this. It's depressing. Age is not kind to most Caucasian people with Neanderthal in their DNA, as I found out my 23andMe. My brow becomes more pronounced. My head becomes taller. Sucks. Just own it, But technology. So Erwin and I have talked this is way down the line, but I see technology being introduced through aliens. So if aliens come down to the planet and start,
I think it's actually a great idea to pigeonhole yourself at the start.
Yeah,
because then you satisfy a certain, you build up your name in one aspect, and then once you kind of have it, once you're a little more household, then it's okay, jump into like Motu doesn't just go into the Rockmen, You know what I mean? Like, they give you.
I like how that's
they
your-
give-
Yeah, like that's your thing. I was thinking like, oh, they don't go into like laser light Skeletor right away or spaceships. They're like Rockmen, the meteor
Well,
animals.
the meteor,
Whoa.
yeah, I think that's what I meant. The meteor guys or whatever. But yes,
Meteorbs.
but look, oh my God,
That's
look at
it.
how
Oh yeah.
look
dang.
at how nice these fucking look in color, man. Like now, let's fucking get serious now, guys. Like this is like this is the thing that like caught my eye, and I just love this, man. I like just the cow. The idea to aesthetically pair the cow with the fucking with the orca and the color swapping is just, I mean, come on, man. That's
So that
fucking
was-
great.
That was another fun collab where I just told Erwin the idea of mashing the two together because they're both black and white. And then he had this great drawing at one point, and I just drawn the whale spots going down the arms and on his chest, but keeping it open like a gorilla. Like if you think of like gorilla hair, how they're like hairy arms and they have like bare teeth. It's like, oh, it'd be cow spots down the arms and a bare chest. And Erwin's like, what if we make it more like Pacific Coast Islander tattoo pattern kind of going down his arm instead of just making it random cow pattern. So that was 100% Erwin's idea.
I love that.
That's cool.
I love
that.
giving
Thank
him like that island kind of vibe. I think that's I think cow pattern is cool, but it almost makes it look soft. It almost like,
Yeah.
Like there's something like,
Yeah, there's something
There's
tribal. Tribal
yeah,
about
there's
this,
something, you know, like there's that one cow pattern Mad Max car. It always took me out of the movie. I was like, that car looks so adorable. You know what I mean?
Is
There's
that in the
something
first
about,
Mad
like-
Max? Which movie was
Huh?
that? The first one?
No, from I think that was in Thunderdome, where
Oh,
there was like a
I-
car and like it had like a cow pattern on it. But it always took me. I was like, that doesn't look
Dude,
cool.
I gotta-
I don't want to see a cow pattern on the car. I want it to be.
I gotta
badass.
look out for this cow pattern car. I don't remember it now. I'm like,
You
I
don't
want
remember
to
the
go back
cow
and
pattern?
rewatch.
There is a cow, a car with just like all cow pattern on it.
Love it.
But this, yeah, the driver was a cowboy. I guess it made sense story wise, but like I
Yeah.
really like the idea of it being kind of like islandy, like having like an eye, for lack of a better word. And this Cobra, man, this is another one, just like in person, like just the face and the sculpt is like, the design of this is just so good.
Thanks, man. Yeah, Erwin and I talked a bit about this guy too, because he mentioned there's like, hey, there's this one Transformer that's a Cobra Scorpion hybrid, and I was like, it doesn't look anything like. Oh, there you. Oh my god, that's that it.
I mean, it doesn't that look like they took the Batmobile and just like
Yeah,
slapped, like,
it does actually.
like just cow
How does
hide
it
on
not
it?
have-
Like,
How does it not have Texas Longhorns on the front of it though? You know what I
Oh,
mean? Just
yeah.
like,
I think this was the joke car. I think they did this just to get a laugh. I think that's actually why.
that movie was on crack anyway, but it wasn't the best. But
It's
yeah,
it's
I don't know.
wild. It's wild. Regardless.
I didn't mean to deviate.
no, I forgot what we were even talking about. Oh, Steam
Yeah, what are we
Cobra.
talking about?
Yeah. Well, I just, like I didn't go like a little bit with Shamu and Steam Cobra. I didn't. Sorry, my thoughts are all over. Like
That tail.
My
That tail
tail-
is ridiculous. Oh my god, that tail is insane. I don't think
so it's not reflecting this yet, but it's reflecting the new sculpt update. So the new sculpt update, this is basically version 1 of Steam Cobra that we 3D printed. And then for the designer con last year, I met Nira. I didn't have time to print the new one and paint it, so I painted the old one. So the two you're seeing together are Shamumu version 2 and Steam Cobra version 1, and then the final prototype production samples will be Shamumu version 3 and Steam Cobra version 2. So they're mostly reflected here, but there's some things we edited. And just like when Erwin and I looked at Shamumu, went over a bunch of notes about like pushing some things or whatever, we did the same thing with Steam Cobra after DesignerCon 2022. We met up together. And I think that's reflected in this and then the next image that I sent you, Jay. Yeah, so we pushed
wow.
all the detail on him. So he's way more textured because a lot of that didn't hold up in the 3D print. And then we
Super textured.
exaggerated all the spikes and shit just so he'd be like a little bit more menacing.
Oh yeah.
And then also
You
the
think?
tail adds a lot of weird weight, and I really am like a stability junkie, so we made the feet like quite a bit bigger. From, yeah, so his
Just
feet
to
are a
help-
lot
help
more.
balanced. Yeah, the toes are just a lot more. They look like
Yeah.
they're bigger and spread out than like
The feet went from like
texture
this to like this. They went quite. You can see that there. So they splayed more, and then they got bigger.
Yeah.
And like, not to jump around too much, but like I got I'll call it a light discussion with an articulation nerd at PowerCon last year, and he was really pushing for me to do like double jointed elbows and articulated knees. I'm like, dude, I'm going for like Ninja Turtles, He-Man, classic style articulation. I don't want to like, do any. I don't want to. I just want to do swivels. This is what I want. This is what and if people want it, cool. If they don't, I get it. It's like I want to push for this. I think no one else is doing this right now. I think it's cool to see like people doing like the updated street sharks are adding more articulation, like with what Mattel is doing. But like, I just want to see an updated sculpt with that same classic style articulation. And when I look at my He-Man toys, my vintage ones, one of the first things I look at is how tight their legs are. If they're super loose, they fall over. You need a stand to hold them up. I'm like, I want a toy that just stands. Like even
also, I think that this is there to scratch like a certain itch. I mean, there are people that are like, they get things like for deep articulation, but the level of detail, if to maintain the integrity, like people in the chat, if you've not seen these like in person, and again, they're going to get more detailed. I know that's what you said, David, but I saw them one version ago or however many versions ago, and they were super detailed then. So there's no real way, like, I don't think to have that level of detail, and especially what I'm seeing now, but also like fucking double joint here, and nor do I think it's like necessary for something like this. There's just so much stuff going on. It reminded me, just not to go on a tangent, but like
tangent.
Go.
Like you're driving a cow car. Like you're driving a cow car. Go.
So anyway, Mad Max Thunder. If you ever look at like the tweeter head, like Motu designs in the armor, and I love this kind of shit. There's all kinds of like things happening. There's all kinds of like story things that are happening in the armor and the base and this and that. And these guys have it too. I mean, even like when you first sent this to me, I remember just finding shit like the bird that like ran into the fucking like there's all kinds of, I don't know if you can like scroll up, Jay, but like just like in the armor itself, like there's just all kinds of like just little things in there. And I'm a big fan. Like look at the fucking bird. Like I don't want this shit to get lost. You know what I mean? So this definitely scratches an itch. And if you like that kind of like detailing in there, I think that you'll definitely appreciate this.
And just to preface this is the final digital sculpt. When it gets like printed, final molding cast and the cuts, and like there might be some things that are slightly compromised from the like. I mean, the digital sculpt's like ideal, right? Then like
sure,
with anything, it like stuff happens. I want to be like, you're gonna get 100% this. It's like that's always push for like a high bar, and then like the higher bar you push, then the better the end result.
Yeah,
so that's
and you land somewhere. But yeah, this guy looks so good, and sorry,
I love the color. I love the color choices too.
I'm getting lost in the detail of this. So in terms of like, so in terms of this Kickstarter, which is actually a good. Because we've had people ask about it. I've had people ask me, like, when is this getting started? And, now that we're getting to the top of the hour, I think it's maybe like a good just to understand the plan here. As far as this is what I understand so far, and then David, take it from here, is these are going to be the two offerings. This is a Kickstarter, which I kind of like. It's fun to not have to deal with like 30 different figures and have to understand like the 30 different figures. If I'm not mistaken, the offering is going to be these two and then variants also of these two and then some weapons. I would love for you to like, I know you're still working out kinks of the Kickstarter, but like, what can you tell us in terms of like, how does this become mobile? How do we get this? How do what's the plan?
So, this has been my I've been struggling over this last like couple weeks. Where I'm working with a great production manager, Chris Garwich. He's the Four Horsemen's production manager, so he helps with all their overseas manufacturing. And Eric Treadway of the Four Horsemen is kind of like a big brother to me, and he's always been super supportive. He's like, you got to make these. I'm like, I don't know how to make them. He's like, you're going to work with Chris. He points to his production manager guy. He's like, you work with this guy. I'm like, okay. Chris, you want to make these with me? So Chris is my guy that's helped me make these in China, and he's been talking with the factories, and it's not an easy thing. He gave me the numbers for like the tooling cost, the unit cost, and I mean, I know you and Jay are learning all this. Like, I mean, like I know you knew this, but like learning it when you get involved.
We were struggling with it today. I mean,
yeah,
we're still struggling with it.
It never really ends. So
yeah. So with statues, it's a very different business model. Like with statues, you have silicone molds. So you don't really worry about molding costs. Just like they give you a unit cost, and that's what it is. It's like the most expensive thing. I mean, the thing you have to worry about after a basic unit cost is like the foam cut for the statue, and then the box, and then the weight and the shipping. It's like size, weight, getting it here, you know? So it's like dealing with tooling costs is kind of a newer thing for me. I work in the industry as long as I have, it's been mostly around resin collectibles. So learning how to like work with tooling costs, amortizing that across everything. I'm like, Dell's freaking out. I'm like, the math doesn't make sense in this at all. That's why I was kind of like freaking out over the last few days. And I think I found a way to make it make sense. There's things I always plan for the worst case scenario. Like every time like something hurts my body, I go to the doctor. I just expect it to be like cancer. I'm like, cool, it's cancer. Right. I'm dead. And then I go to the doctor. They're like, dude, you have an ulcer. Chill out. I'm like, all right, cool. Just chill out. So I go into this Kickstarter, the same thing of just like, oh, this is the worst case scenario. And then I work backwards from there. So I ran this I woke up this morning at 7 a.m. I'm a sleeping on the weekend guy. I was crunching numbers from 7 a.m. through 2 p.m. Different financial scenarios of like, if I do this, do this, do this, do this. So I think what we landed on today finally is we need $120,000 to fund this thing. And that gives me some, like the margins are thin. Like this is not a money-making endeavor for me. This is like a vanity project and we get toys. You know, that's my payment is people want toys, we get toys, and then that whatever little money I get left over from this is going to go into like the future of Wave 2. So right now we're looking at $120,000 of fun. We're looking at Sting Cobra and Shamu is $55 each, which is a little bit more than I was hoping for, but literally like the tooling costs in each of these guys, and there's zero reuse. The only thing reused between the two is literally the base. We're doing one universal black disc base. That's the reuse part. Now we do have the two variant characters. We have Bulltooth and Ven Nom Nom, which is like the Shamumu character with the new head, new harpoon weapon, and then we have Sting Cobra with like a new derpy head and new weapon, and they both have new color schemes. So those are going to be the variant character color plays. And then we're looking at like a glow-in-the-dark Shamu Sting Cobra. We're looking at a paint swap version of them I'm pretty excited about. So we had this idea of like, I love the idea of a Shamumu painted like Sting Cobra. So if you get Sting Cobra's arm, you put on your Sting Cobra painted Shamumu, they like gel. And then you get a Shamumu painted Sting Cobra. So we're going to do a color swap variant for them as well, which I'm pretty excited. I think that's kind of a fun, weird idea.
I've seen that. We don't have any images of that, do we?
I don't think I sent it because it's ghetto. It's a Photoshop mess. So I didn't.
Even the quote unquote ghetto version looked really good and really tempting. And did you mention weapons? Anything about weapons? Or
so we're gonna do a weapons pack too. So there's like Erwin designed this like a few months ago, and then I had one of the
actually I do have the variants.
Oh, David, can you give a shout out to the sculptors?
Yeah, totally. I was gonna, for sure. So we've had a whole awesome team. Like Erwin was the initial designer. Christopher Flork, he worked on the little buddy designs for me, and he's helped on future characters. Tom Kizavat, awesome designer. He goes by Murderous Automaton. He's done a bunch of stuff for Pixel Dan recently. I forgot what the thing's called, but he's amazing. So that's like my main design team. And Aiden Casterly came up with a bunch of awesome early design ideas too. And I've worked with a few sculptors most recently. Ariel Moore Ramus helped evolve Sting Cobra to a point, and then Tiago Zanabini helped push them both forward, Sting Cobra and Shamumu, to the finish line. And then he's been helping me with, he sculpted all the new weapons and stuff. So Tiago's been awesome. These are guys I use while I work at Tweeterhead. And then the person who painted them all, Chia Zuma, she is a full-time painter at Sideshow. I've known her. We worked at Gentle Giant together. She's been a longtime friend. So I have one of the best painters in the world, a couple of the best sculptors in the world. They're all like, Erwin is an above average designer. He's okay. But, so I'm just like very fortunate. I have these amazing artists we work with, and I forgot.
It takes a village. Sometimes it shows.
Absolutely.
By the way, you have sculpting royalty in the chat,
Yes.
Mr. Sculpt Viper Tommy.
Tommy, I taught Tommy ZBrush way back when. Now he knows way more than I do about. Was that Tommy?
Is fucking
It's he was
right
working for
here,
Mondo right
so-
now, and
Oh yeah, that's the same Tom.
Oh.
I assume that's Tom. Yeah, he worked with Phil Ramirez for years, and it's funny. Tommy's a super shy guy, but online he's super extrovert. I'm like, in real life, he's like, oh, I'm like, get out, let's hang out. So yeah, he took my ZBrush. I teach ZBrush sometimes, so that's how I know a lot of weird artist people like Tommy. Who's an introvert. I love when I get introverts in my class because I'm a slight extrovert. So just like make it awkward for them and shake their chair and make them talk out loud.
Did you guys want to take a look at the variants? Because we actually do have them.
Yeah, I think I clipped some of them because I wasn't happy with where they were yet, and we're working on
I'm also excited about. I'm a weapons pack guy, so I'm also very excited. Dude, these variants are fucking sick, man.
Thanks, man.
I know. I like how David tries to fucking like short you. It looks like shit. No, it does not. Even in this fucking. I mean, these variants. You know what I like about these variants? If you're not looking close enough, they look like completely new figures. Like
they do.
Like,
actually,
it's not. It doesn't read as like, oh, this is because you got the new head. They look fucking. They're gonna look great, man.
I love this. I love this derpy head. That is my favorite head.
Yeah,
So-
that head's great, right?
So when I was working with
That is
Erwin when I was talking to Erwin about the designs on these, I wanted them to look as cool as the original offerings, but I wanted their head sculpts to be derpy. So even Bulltooth is kind of like this, like he has a derpiness to him.
He does.
Yeah,
He does have a derpy.
So all variants are derps. That's just
awesome.
like
I
the
love it.
rule I
I
have.
freaking
Like,
love it. Oh my
Yeah.
god, that is so good. I wish
Dude,
we
I'm
thought
a-
about
I'm a
that.
sucker
We could have
for a
had.
good derp variant.
We could have had Flaker with a derpy head, man. That would have
I
been
know.
so
Why did
cool.
we fucked up? We should just.
You
steal
guys
ideas
should have
from
called
some-
me.
I think
I only-
weren't you talking about it yesterday? You're gonna have like a sucker figure.
Yeah,
You
we're
can
gonna have like we were thinking of having like a sucker 2-pack because we're like, if we have a character that flips toys, we want like we want suckers, dumb suckers that he could flip it to. So we were thinking of like maybe those guys can have derpy faces then. I love that shark head, man.
I do.
I think that's fucking good. That to me takes it out of the realm of just like simple color swap variant.
Yeah, and Erwin was like, we were talking about how do we keep the bovine in there, and he put in the nose with the bull like door knocker on his nose too. So I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, I like it.
Action Figuratorium, great toy tuber, and he's very much into Kickstarters. Vending projects are welcome these days. Give money to IgoStuff and less to Hasbro.
Oh, thanks.
Shots fired, man. Shots
And
fired.
Jay, it's
By the way,
cool. I love
think-
you.
I also think, look, there's always this weird like hesitation about like price and this and that. I think that's personally reasonable for a boutique figure. You know what I mean? Like this is not. I think what's good about like Kickstarters and all these things that are coming about with independent creators is people are seemingly getting with the program that you can't sell this for $20. You know what I mean? Like there's just no fucking way to run that. And when you really see the level of details, I think you're gonna be fucking. I think it's gonna do really well.
Yeah, just
Really
and
incredible.
I want to just stress like how much like Erwin and I pushed like the design and the even looking at the work in progress sculpts. Just like, I've been working in statues for so long. I wanted like now that I'm an adult and I look at some of my Ninja Turtle toys, so many of them hold up and so many of them like, I just wish they were pushed more. Like, what do I want? What am I willing to pay for them? And they're not for everyone. So people might look at this and go, the money doesn't make sense for me because the articulation isn't there. But I hope most people see like, but the love and the energy and the design and the push and the life, all that's there, and then again, like the modular, like how you can mix and match and interchange all the things. Like the more you get, just the more you're gonna have. And you can make your own. Like, you know, it's not like I want this to be like a playland again for us. I want us to feel like, you know, the Brutal Realm guys give me some, and David Vonner gave me a really like awesome compliment. They're like, when they saw this, they're like, this is what feels like the first time when you were a kid and you saw Ninja Turtles. You know, it's like I wanted that with these. I feel like this is not to say like, you know, not pat ourselves on the back too hard, but that's what I want to go for. I didn't want to rush these. They've been 3 years in the making. I want to, and they're going to set the template for like every other figure after this. That's why Orin and I work so hard to make sure Shamumu and Sting Cobra looked as good as they can be, because we want to make sure like the future figures like Woolly Mammoth, Berserker, Bone Picker, any of those guys, that they're like, that they all gel, that we're starting this line strong, not starting it with like a regret of like, oh, we could have done this a little bit better, you know?
No,
like,
I think this is a strong start, and I love the interchangeability. Somebody was mentioning something about glow in the dark. There was one, right? There was a glow in the dark.
That's
People
one of them. And that was a Photoshop mock-up. So they'll be very similar to like what Super 7 does, where they're like some glow, like they're injected glow, and then some is painted dark. Like Shamumu, I want to very much make it so like his white and bright colors glow, you know, and then there's some dark contrast in there. And then like we want to do a blue clear Shamumu that's injected clear, painted blue, so it looks like he's like a water, like just water crystal Shamumu, and then do Sting Cobra like green energy Sting Cobra. And I thought those would be fun. Like then if you mix like the body parts and stuff, and then you have like these clear elements, you know, it looks like if you put like the green energy Sting Cobra armor on Shamumu, it looks like a power up, you know. And I thought that was a fun way to.
Do we have a close-up of, we saw the other little guy, the starfish, but that other one is really cool too, the one that's with Sting Cobra. I don't know if you have a shot.
He's like a camel spider horned lizard mashup, and he has
this dude is fucking wild too. He's
a jerk, man.
I love this. I don't want that to get lost, because like the design work on this. Oh yeah, you got to print that one. There you go.
Yeah, you want to. Jay, I got this guy on my thing. You can see he's a. So he's like, "Come at me, bro. Come at." And then he's got behind his back, he's got a little knife. He's holding behind his back with his.
That is awesome. I love that.
This guy's a real jerk. This dude.
Oh, yeah, he's a psycho. Yeah,
like, come at me, bro. And then the starfish guy. I don't have names for these guys, by the way. We're just I jokingly call them Derp and Lerp, but I want to. I mean, this guy might be Derp. This guy might stick with Derp, but this is the starfish guy.
He's not very derpy though.
And then he has a cute little butt, you know.
He's
butt action on.
That's a very sexy figure.
Yeah, he works out.
Sexy.
Works out. No, not bragging about it or nothing.
Yeah, but I wanted them to have like as much life and be around the same size as like the other ninja. Like people were saying earlier, like Earthworm Jim. I have a few of those. The Ninja Turtles, a lot of them come with little buddies. I love that like little buddy element, and then Keshi toys. You know, they're all like muscle figures. They're all plus or minus that same size.
Oh, dude, Jay and I are sick about like the character that come with little buddies.
Yeah.
One of our things on Flip Wars was like we're like it has to come with like a little buddy, so we put that Katcha in there. And so
that was a great one.
Yeah, just it's I personally love a figure that comes with, again, like a buddy or a pet or something.
So we're actually going to offer them separate, because I know some people like just collect that stuff. So we're offering just the starfish and the camel spider, and flesh tone is a 2-pack. Like you can buy just them if you don't want.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what the price is going to be, but it'll be something to help amortize the tooling on the ones that go with the figures. But yeah,
I dig it. So you're thinking the Kickstarter would be 120, and you're thinking it would start when I mean, isn't the clock already ticking on when it's and I do want to make sure
Tuesday.
On Tuesday, this September 10th.
Yeah,
launching
2 days.
10th. Can
9 a.m. Pacific.
Sorry, Jay, can we I'm trying to do it, but I can't do it. can you put the link in the chat
Yep.
just so it's there, and then we'll put it again. Sorry, David. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No. It's cool. And it's weird. The link can go just up to figures. You don't need that question mark ref discovery bullshit. But yeah, it's weird how it does that. It's like, here's the link, and then here's a weird longer version of the link just to make it more complicated. But
I know. Yeah.
I'm bad at reading, and they're like, let me just add some wingdings in here. It's like, sweet, thanks. Just needed that. But yeah, so September 10th, we're going up against the presidential debate. So we're just like, screw it, I'm sure all of us
watch the debate and then you get maybe disheartened, you can just go support some Monstors.
Yeah.
Why not?
Right before, 9/11 Eve. It's great timing. We're just like, there's all these holidays like lined up right around it. It's just like, the debate, it's early September. It's going to end.
It's so funny. Like 9/11 became, this is a personal anecdote. Obviously, it was a date, and everybody's like that date. And then my daughter was born on 9/11. So now I have to associate now that date. I have to create a reassociation because I can't just be mourning that date. You know what I mean?
Could you not have just like held her in for like a little bit longer?
We tried, but my wife, she was against that. And how selfish is she?
Dude, you should look into getting a divorce.
Say it. What a bitch. Dude, I think 567 followers. It's already got some good heat, man. And there's a lot of people. I've heard a lot of people talking about this unrelated to me, meaning like not where I'm like people are like, oh man, you got to see this monster thing, and I'm like, yeah, I got it, I know about it. You know what I mean?
Leave me alone.
Yeah, leave me alone. And so I can't wait, dude. I think it's gonna be great for you, man. I think it's gonna like once it starts, it's gonna be fucking stressful, but like I really think this is gonna be fun, and I'm hoping. I know that's a lot of things. We talked to some like the Brutal Realm people, and I know that's always a thing where it's just like we just want enough just to make the thing. But I really hope that it's the numbers are so that if you get it, you also have money in the tank for yourself and your artists because you obviously deserve it. Like I hate it's like nobody wants to see artists get paid. It's like there's always this thing where it's just like what, you gonna pay yourself? It's like A, that should happen, and B, that you have enough left in the tank that this can keep going, because I think one of the big appeals of this is some of the designs that you guys are thinking. I mean, I went through that notebook. I was like, that ram, I still remember it all. And I see a lot of shit. The fucking ram was cool. The bear, like there was a lot of really fucking hot shit. And I just kind of, I wanted to keep on going.
Jay, I think I sent you some of that, Jay, if you want to show that. I mean, because I'm not like hiding it. I haven't posted it yet. I'll make a post about all this stuff later too. But like we've shown Berserker, Woolly Mammoth, Bone Picker. I don't think we've posted the actual artwork for the other ones yet, but they're in the binder and they're kind of like up in the world. But it was important for me, and this is where I expanded who I was working with because I love Erwin, but he's a popular dude. So he was a little busy leading up to DesignerCon last year, and he was also helping out with like the two dinosaur guys. So this is Erwin's concept art for Sting Cobra.
Oh, it's
and
so
he
good.
traditionally inked these things too. He's awesome. And then Berserker was all Erwin.
That's
and then
so fucking good.
And then Bone Picker was one.
Bone Picker. Dude, this is another one. When you said like Ratfink or whatever, I was like, this Bone Picker just hit that itch. Like just how it's so good, man.
So one thing we were thinking about with this guy, most of them, I mean, all of them are buff, brawler, beastly bros. They're all like buff. They're all brawlers. He's the one that breaks the mold a little bit. But he's gonna be like my evil sorcerer guy.
He's like a spellcaster.
Right? Yeah, but he finds this pile of dinosaur bones and then builds essentially his Bebop and Rocksteady. So he has his like dinosaur bone muscle men. And so that's where I want him to be the guy that like basically can build like cool undead warrior type characters. And that's where maybe some of the body swapping originates from.
Yeah.
So I think there's one, Jay, that shows the two dinosaur guys or earlier work in progress ones of them, but it's two designs, Erwin and I mean, Erwin did the drawing, but we talked about the ideas together.
No, but this art is fantastic, man.
Thanks, man. That's the art Christopher Flork did. That's the very first drawing Erwin did of Shamumu, and that's when it was two. I was like, dude, this 2 Street Sharks. Go for more. Like,
Yeah, I see.
that was his second pass at stuff. Yeah, there's the udders. The udders.
That kills me, man. I love it.
I kind of.
Oh yeah, there
I need
it
to
is.
censor.
I
I need
like
to
the
censor
udders.
I need to censor that somehow. That's
Dude, right?
I was trying to tap into the wackiness of the
I love it. I love it. It's so good. It's so good. That is so crazy.
That was, if you go back, Jay, that was where you could see if you go 2 back, that was where the next one back. That's no, the one before that to the right. Yeah. That was where Erwin sent me this like first pass, like trying to get the pattern on his head, and he actually worked in like this bias thing. I'm like, I just worry that wouldn't translate something so small. But that back view is when if you go to the next one, you can see like I plastered on like a cow pattern. That's where I was like, oh, let's try this. Well, oh, the one before it. Sorry, go to the left. Yeah, no, it's cool. So that's where I plastered it on there, and I'm like, let's try that. And then Erwin's like, I don't think that's gonna work so well. So then if you go 2 to the right, that's where Erwin did a first pass to try and show that would be more of a, Pacific Coast Islander kind of a thing. And then it was just a matter of like, how do you make that work?
Yeah, that's awesome. Holy crap.
Yeah.
I love the design process.
The name is great too, Shamumu.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people like, are you worried about a lawsuit? I'm like, dude, it's satire, and it's like, it's Shamumu. It's Moo. It's a cow. I don't know.
Well, can you copy? The Shamu is a public animal figure. Like, can you copyright that?
I think SeaWorld like owns that character, just like Mattel owns He-Man.
I mean, this whole thing is parody. You know what I mean? Like,
SeaWorld's not long for this world anyway, man. Like,
it's SeaWorld actually has enough problems, so I think you're fine.
So this was when Erwin and I were talking about doing variants. This was his first passage doing color variants. Like, what could this be? So we started here, and then we started to do different animal heads. And I think the next image you're going to see is the original bull tooth, which is insanity. That was.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh my God, that's a water mine. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Dude, that's hilarious.
I love it.
How big it is.
That's so hilarious because like I can just see when that connects with somebody, what happens, like it just blows them the fuck up. I love that, man.
We talked about like, well, Shamumu already has horns. Let's not do the horns on him, and let's not do an open mouth because that'd be hard for tooling. So let's close the mouth, and then let's keep the anchor really kind of like the bigger, more modern thing. And let's I think the water mine looks a little bit too like it could be cooler than the anchor. So how do we dial it back from an anchor? So this was what Erwin gave me. And then the next image was like my super rough Photoshop edit to show him like what I was it wasn't in there.
Oh, it's not.
Wasn't it?
What happened to it? Maybe is it the one to the left of that, Jay? Or
let me check really quick because what I did was I didn't know which ones I was allowed to show and which ones I was going to show.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's like a before and after, and that was like my rough Photoshop edit. So Erwin will do designs. I'll send them back to him. I'll try some stuff out. Erwin will generate ideas. I'll generate ideas, and we play off each other a lot. So
yeah, I think.
But his first design was insanity. It was like super, so that was my just make it like a harpoon, so it's like not as cool as the anchor, and then I just pushed like the face and just made the eyes a bit more bulgy, so he looks dumb. I wanted him to, it was really important to me that he looked dumb.
I love his face, dumb shark.
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, so that's Erwin's thing.
This art is again, this I want prints of this, especially my favorite. I just art wise, I think that bird is so fucking good, man.
Cool, man. It's
like I love all these. I'm just saying, like if I would love like an 8.5 by 11 of that. It just looks so fucking good.
I have no idea what that other image was. I don't think I sent you.
Oh no, I was playing with glow in the dark while you guys were talking. So
you were messing with my IP, Jay.
I was. He was fucking with your shit, man.
That's cool. That's cool though. Look at that.
Actually, I did a Photoshop for potential gold variant, maybe down the road we do like a Golden Idol super limited Kickstarter exclusive. And I found this awesome Photoshop tutorial of taking a anything black and white with shadows and how you can make it look like it's gold. And it was really interesting how they did it. I was like, wow, it's like it takes like 8 different layer changes, but
Yeah, it does.
it was cool. Yeah.
Oh,
But
awesome.
yeah, we're
Dude, please somehow bring back chain with mine on it. Like I I don't know why I love that idea so much. It's just like
it's
swinging a
insane.
chain
That's
and
it's
just
awesome.
yeah, and just hitting a guy and just blows him up. Like I don't know.
Shoot, like a one hit. He's like a kamikaze pilot made
That's what I'm
bull
saying.
warrior.
It's like one hit and then that dude's dead and he's still left with the chain. You know? I like
He's
that.
still holding on to it.
Yeah, he still holds on to like just a dead chain.
He swings it, hit, explodes, and he flies backwards.
Yeah. I love it, man.
He has like
Willy
the
Rameth.
cartoon scorch marks on him, like from
Yeah,
his
yeah.
back. Is like,
Yeah, that's the other one, the woolly Rameth. That was the other one that I also really liked when I saw it in the notebook.
that was one where a year before that, I think it was the December of the year before that, I had my cousin in from out of town. Like he's like 10 years younger than me. I think of him as my little cousin, but now he's like a full grown adult. But he was in town, and I didn't know he was a nerd like this. He was like, "Hey Dave, I'm going to be in town for a Dragon Ball card game tournament. Can I crash with you?" I'm like, "Who are you?" Yes.
What a fucking nerd.
Dude, nerd. So he was hanging out with me, and that's when I showed him Monstors and everything, and like the idea of like, hey, take 2 animals, mash them together, funny pun names, kind of derpy. And when he went home, he texted me, he's like, "Dude, I thought of an idea. What about Woolly Rameth?" I'm like, "Yes. Can I keep that? Can I pay you for that? Can I have like I want?" He's like,
Yeah.
so he's credited as a designer, and you know he's kind of the originator of Woolly Rameth. So I worked with.
Yeah.
I forget. I think Billy Fowler was actually the first one to start designs on him. Then Irwin tried some designs, and then Tom Kizivat came on, did some designs, and then Irwin inked his design to kind of like make it all gel with what Irwin did before. And then Tom started some colors, and Irwin tweaked them. So that's a great thing about bringing in new designers is Irwin's able to work with them still and kind of like make it all gel without losing the identity of the other artist. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite.
Like sorry, David. Like, do you think like once you okay? I know it took like 3 years to get to here, right?
Yeah.
Do you think like once you get going, because I have no doubt this will fund, right? But like once you get going and that comes out, you're pretty much then ready to go once that's delivered and go into wave 2. Like you think it's gonna take that many years to kind of get up and running to do wave 2, or are you kind of?
I think the hardest thing, and Irwin, correct me if I'm wrong, too, like, you know, if you have thoughts on this, because I'm the talkative one. I should let Irwin talk some. I'm sorry, Irwin. I love you.
It's okay.
You know,
I like listening. It's like a podcast that I'm on.
But yeah, it was just like it took a while because it wasn't a thing at first. It was kind of like work on it a little bit, get distracted with 6 months worth of work, come back to it. Yeah. And then so is that on top of figuring out what it is, like figuring out what the box is that we're playing and what are the rules, what's the look, like work with a sculptor to establish the sculpt look. Because Irwin's 2D art is awesome. If you look at like the Shamumu concept art, then the final sculpt, they're a bit different because I didn't want to make an anchor twice as big as Shamumu the figure. It would be awesome, but then it'd be like that'd be one tooling block just for one weapon.
Right.
So it'd be insano. So we had to like shrink that down. And then how do we make these? It took a while to kind of figure. I didn't go into it right away thinking the body parts would really swap. It became like a secondary thing. So then it was like, oh, well, we have the sculpted Sting Cobra, we have the sculpted Shamumu. Let's bring him into the same file. Oh, Shamumu's head needs to become a little bit smaller. Sting Cobra's head needs to be a little bit bigger. Changes net. So there's a lot of like that to make sure there's some interchangeability. Not like, you know, we were talking earlier about this. Like their arms will swap, their heads will swap. Like Shamumu will come with other wrists. So like he'll have 2 like weapon holding hands, 2 expressive hands. And then we're like, can we make his wrist fit on Sting Cobra's wrist? But I'm like, that's too much. Like their arms swap, they work there. If I worry about then this will become a never-ending thing, you know. So I gotta just like call it somewhere, you know. And so it was a lot of that. Then also, you know, it was only in the last year and a half was I really focused on making it like a thing. Actually, like, it was like Comic-Con last year, I think, was when I really started pushing for that. And then going to PowerCon, meeting you at DesignerCon, and then getting hooked up with Chris Garwich, I was like, oh, this is going to be a thing now. So I pushed a lot more to get those done, to get art of the future characters. We have like 20 characters designed, and they're not fully finished, but there's like 5 or 6 fully finished designs. Yeah. And then I started a sculpt on Escar Bro. He's the snail lamprey guy, you know, just kind of figure out like what he would look like. And I started a Berserker to see like how big he could be compared to the other ones. I started those just to kind of like rough out the idea. But then I've been working on a cartoon show outline. Been working with my buddy Eric Barnes, who's a great writer. He's a comedian. He wrote for Cracked for a long time, and so he has like that. And then when I pitched him the idea, I'm like, yeah, I don't think we've talked about, but like the story and the world of this is like PG-13 Game of Thrones with heavy derpiness to like Game of Thrones, you know. So it's like you have guys who are good and then they do bad things. You have guys who are bad and then they're redeemable. Then you have just like bad guys who get badder and they're jerkier and whatever. Like Sting Cobra to me is like the Joffrey Baratheon, where he's just like a dick the whole time. There's nothing redeemable about him. But then Bone Picker's like your redeemable bad guy. We're like, oh, he's kind of a bad guy, but I understand why he's a bad guy. And so that came to like, all right, well, I have these characters. And then how do I have some biases, so I would definitely stay with like underwater things a lot longer. This would be a line of like 4 or 5 sea creatures, then there's a land animal, you know what I mean? But I'm like, I don't want to do just like water characters, because then everyone would think it was Street Sharks 2.0, and I didn't want that. So that's why I really that contrast between Shamumu and then the second character, Sting Cobra. I wanted to really be a contrast. And then the next character is Berserker, so he's like a hairy land, you know what I mean? He's a character covered in hair. So I want there to really be that contrast between them. So I worked with my buddy Tom Yillison, who's an amazing artist in Holland. We worked on a world map of like where these characters come from. I
remember you showed me that.
Yeah, it might be in the thing I sent you too, Jay. You can pull that up if you wanted to, because I'm showing that around a little bit. But I wanted to figure out like the different biomes, different terrains of where they come from. And then I started populating the world map with like, oh, Shamumu's from the water, this guy's here. And I looked at the map and go like, oh, I don't have any snow characters. Oh, I don't have any jungle characters. Oh, I don't have any. You and this gold Shamumu. Okay? You know? Tell me what you really want without saying what you want, you know?
Jay loves gold.
Jay, you're muted.
You're muted, Jay.
Oh, sorry, I brought that up by mistake. My bad.
No, that's cool. I'm just busting your balls. Is that allowed?
You can say whatever you want. We're good. Wow, this map is high resolution. Okay, hold on. There we
go. So it's and so like Bone Pickers from the Magma Mountains, Sting Cobras from the desert. So all the name, there's like the Hot Pockets hanging out by the Brown Waste. It's like funny.
The Brown Waste, I love it.
Yeah, the brown. It's just like
Brown
the
Waste.
Soaky, yeah, the Soaky.
I like Wetlandia.
Yeah, that's where Shamumu.
That's where Shamumu comes from.
And then the
Soaky Sea. The Soaky Sea.
So the Death Rock. The Death Rock.
Gotta get wet.
Oh man, I want to live there. The Tropicanadas. I love that.
All right, so the Tropicanadas are kind of an oxymoron, because I kind of took the idea of Hawaii, but then the friendliness of Canada. So it's the Tropicanadas.
But I love it, because that would never happen. There's no such thing as Tropican in tropics.
No.
I know, that's why.
Jay, this is a fantasy property.
I love it. I feel sorry for this guy. What happened to him? Oh my god.
Oh, he's dead as shit. So that's like, he's. I always think of like Star Wars, like the crate dragon skeleton that was like just hanging out. Like, what is this thing? I don't know, but somewhere someone's gonna figure out a story for him.
How far do you think the land of Nefertiti is from this land, David? Like could we
just
cross
around
over?
The corner, just over that hill, just over that hill.
Okay, so there you go. Maybe a crossover in the future.
Yeah.
Are we gonna get some like buffalo? Are we gonna get some like hippopotamus in the thick? I mean, like.
So there's a hippo rhino mashup character. I don't have a good name. I have a temporary name for him, but I wanted to.
Where all the gorgeous Amazonian women.
Waste.
Oh yeah,
Brown
where?
the brown waste.
Proud
So
way.
So
and the hot
I do love that. I do have to say I love that you created a whole map of
Like Middle Earth.
but yeah, I think I don't want that original point to get lost. Is that it very much felt that this is the kind of campaign that if you can fund it, if you get to the finish line and get these made, you're not going to, because I know a lot of people are always like, you get into a line, you want to feel like it's not just a one and done. You want to feel like, okay, like there's like a plan. And just looking at a lot of the stuff you had, I think because you took so much time on the onset that it feels like once you reach your goal, and obviously the figures come out and they're beautiful and they're in people's hands, this felt like the kind of thing where I think you could turn around more in this line, like in a faster way.
Yeah, especially we have a lot of designs and ideas that Erwin and I have worked out with other people, and Erwin and I have really like worked out like what the aesthetic is in 3D too. And I love that about Erwin. He's very collaborative. It's not like, hey, I designed this, doesn't look anything like my drawing. It's like he gets how things can evolve, and not saying his isn't evolved, but you know what I mean? Like it just the way things need to sometimes interpret or translate from 2D to 3D and to make them work. It's like I've never been a fan of control art, like draw this exactly like this and sculpt it. Then you have to sculpt it and there's like your blueprint. And I get the idea for that. Like some artists work better that way. And I'm not like, it's not like a knock at all. I've always been way more of an organic workflow guy. Like someone starts the idea, then the next guy kind of like takes the baton, runs with it for a bit, then runs and hands it off to like everyone's kind of like adding something to it. And thanks, Brunson. And then everyone kind of like brings a little bit to it. So it's not Dave Igo's thing. It's like, yeah, sure. Like I know I'm like gonna be the loudmouth face of this thing throughout most of the campaign. And I mean, it is technically like I've paid Erwin. I love him, but like I've paid him. I own it. No, I'm kidding. I own it now. But I've wanted to like bring on artists where when you pay them and you pay them a fair wage, they still get like, if this becomes something bigger, Erwin's getting a piece of that. The sculptors are going to get a piece of that. The painters are going to get obviously scaled on their participation and everything. But I want to be, I've been on the other side where you see people take advantage of artists and then something becomes big and like the Nike swoosh guy got paid $25 and that's it. It's like, how is that right? And then they could say, well, they signed a work agreement. They knew what they were doing. It's like, I would not be able to go to sleep at night if I was making that much money off of someone else's work, even if I paid them. Not saying like they have to make equal to me, because there is like, Erwin knows how much work I put into this to make it become something. It's not like, thanks, Erwin, for your art, and I just hit a button and then these things popped up. It's like, I invested a lot of time and money with other artists.
This is one of those things, and we only know it because of Lauren art. Just to be very candid, on the side that we're on with the Kickstarter, is like Jay and I on our Kickstarter, like we don't even know what we are going to have at the end of the day when all is said and done. You don't know. Like that's the tough thing, is like at the end of the day, once your taxes and you pay artists and you pay this, so like that's the other thing that you have to figure out as you create like a business out of this, is like once all said and done, like having to figure that out is a lot of math. Like you will not know, like even if it's like a wildly successful, wildly funds, it's tough to know until like everything shakes out and everybody, because you also never know what can go wrong during production. You might have to put in some extra money, you know what I mean? It's like, so I like your chances, because the design, while it has a lot of detail, it doesn't like scare me. It does like sometimes I see Kickstarters and I go like, I'm just kind of like, will they be able to achieve that? You know what I mean? I'm just kind of like, are they? But like these are simple, and I say that in a engineering way. You know what I mean? Like these are like, I'm not scared of these. Like I know what they're going to be when they get to me. They're going to be these fun, vivid, detailed figures. The articulation is not this thing that's off the wall where it's going to start breaking. You know what I mean? So I think like I like your chances, because like they look great and people that buy them know what they're going to do with them. They're going to have them in some variation of that. of what
Yeah.
we're seeing there. And it's kind of like, if you like this aesthetic, you're going to like the line.
Yeah. Thanks, man. And yeah, I've been buying a lot of other figures, and the battle I always have is whether they can stand and then look cool while they're standing. Like some figures I try and pose and they look cool, but then they fall over. I gotta like lean them back against something, then they're awkward. And like it's just like, oh, super articulate. I'm like, that's cool. Do they stand? Like, can I walk away? You know? And that's like, it just seems like such a simple thing to think about. But that's why I'm like, I made their feet huge and I gave them a base. They don't need the base, but the base is just there. So you don't need to worry about like museum putty or anything. It's just like, it's gonna be the same height, same base on a lot of the smaller figures. Berserker will get a bigger one. But I wanted it to be like, and Near, thank you for, we talked about this earlier too, was like, I'm coming at this Kickstarter with like mostly finished prototypes. People can see it. And that was really important for me, for people to like see it at a convention. I can like literally grab Shamumu hanging out behind me here, grab him and be like, he's a real boy, and like, he articulates already. I mean, it's not like final articulation. All the joints are loose because of 3D print or whatever, but like you can already play with them to a degree. And even at conventions, when people come up to the booth, if people are careful and they have clean hands and they ask nicely, I let them pick them up. I forgot if I let you pick them up. You look kind of like a dirty old weird guy, so maybe I didn't let you near. And I'm like, you know what? Not you. Not you. You're filthy, disgusting man.
I tried. Look how mean he is to me, and I've been nothing but nice. I did try to pick it up, but yeah, but I guess that's his way of saying. That's David's way of saying you don't have to pick it up, Near, because I'm going to send you one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's almost like, and so I got his meaning when he said that. I was like, oh, I get what you're saying. So
well played.
Thank you in advance also for that, David.
Well played.
But that's a great thing now, though, too, is like if everyone, there's all these opportunities, more and more conventions in every single state and like around the world, in America, there's, Joe Lancet coming up in Atlanta and there's all these shows. So if you have an opportunity to go to a show, you have an idea, like it's not that hard to like, some people are like, I can't afford this thing. It's like, well, work like, and I hate saying it because it's like, it sounds insensitive, but like work hard, save some money. If you don't have money and you have like, I was listening to one guy recently say like, oh, I can't afford this. And they had like a room full of action figures. I'm like, sell that shelf worth of shit. If you really want to get this done, sell it. Like sell that shelf of stuff, make your thing, make it a reality. Cause I had to sell something recently to like help fund this effort. And it was the most expensive original piece of art I've ever bought. And it was from an artist who's passed away. And I knew as soon as I let it go, it went up in value and I'll never get it back. But like, it was important to me to make this happen. And I've had to sell things to make it happen. And 3D printing.
There's a lot of like self things that you have to sacrifice, I think. So, I mean, you're essentially going into business for yourself. Yeah. Which is, I mean, if you bet on yourself, right? That's the thing that always, you have a hunch, you team up with other artists like Irwin, who's fucking fantastic. And like, you just make but I think you're also probably validated by other artists. I do want to say this just as an addendum to what you're saying, is that I think, okay, you said you had early conversations with Irwin and you guys kind of collaborate and stuff. That probably also reinforces your confidence that you have a good product. I think sometimes, and I'm not going to name any names, but I've seen Kickstarters where clearly it was somebody that thought an idea was cool and nobody was telling them, no, this is just average. And then they put their money on the line and it didn't go anywhere. You know what I mean? And so I think it's also important to like collaborate with people and see what they think. Because like, Erwin, I don't know you, but I'm sure like if you thought it sucked, you wouldn't be like, I'm not going to engage. You know what I mean? And that'll probably save you a lot of fucking time and money too. So I would say, yes, David, I definitely agree. Like, yeah, you got to put your balls into it. But also it's important to collaborate with other artists and just be like, like we didn't just, and again, all I can compare it to is Flipboard. That was a thing that started as a joke, but then enough people were like, this is kind of cool. And then over the years, we kind of were like, oh, is it cool? Yeah, it's a funny joke. And then a few months went by. Yeah, it's a funny joke. And then maybe we should make it. And then, oh yeah, you should make. And then it just becomes like a fucking thing. So I'd say that like, you should also talk to your peers and talk to other artists as well, and just gauge what they think. Because if they're not, you know what I mean, like that's also important to do. Which you have a good infrastructure because you're an artist yourself and you know other artists as well. So you know you don't have to be you. I mean, you got a pedigree, obviously, David, but you don't have to be you with your fucking 18 years that you were bragging about. But you know, maybe like you can, maybe if you still have an idea, I do love that, you know, the guts it takes to do this.
Yeah, and I think you totally nailed something. I've been very much of the opinion, I've gotten in trouble for this in the past, that I think anyone is capable of having a good idea. And I think there's a difference between having a good idea and making good art. And I think sometimes they can overlap. Like, I think there's certain comic book artists who are amazing comic book artists, but I wouldn't hire them to redesign an entire universe of comic book heroes because they're not the best designers, right?
Right.
And when I was at Sideshow, I would talk to anyone that had a good idea. You have a good idea? A good idea is a good idea. I don't care if you're an artist or not. If they came in a respectful manner, it was like, Dave, I have a thought on this. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'd listen to them. And you have to put your ego aside, even though I was like, I'm the art director here. But sometimes someone like from the customer service had a better idea than I did, or they had feedback because I couldn't see a thing. And you have to just like really set your ego aside. I know I've worked, you know, for as long as I've worked in this industry I haven't gotten along with everyone. And sometimes, you know, I try to get along with as many people as I can. I try to engage as many people as I can, give everyone a voice at the table. And it's your job, if you're putting your money on the line, to really go, is my ego getting in the way of this thing? Or does this other person have a really good idea? I need to rethink what I'm doing. And the thing that's helped me with that is I have a twin brother. We're fraternal. So I was raised with I was never, and an older sister. So it was always like the three kids, but having a twin, we shared everything. So it's never like, this is mine. It's like, oh, this is ours. Right. So when I approach art, and I hope Erwin feels this way, like when I approached him with this, I didn't want him to feel like, oh, he's just my hands. Right. Like, hey, draw this for me, slave. You know, it's like, hey, let's jam on this thing together. And I respect you. And how can I make this work for you? And for me, it's like, well, have this money I can pay you. And for other people, it's like, I have this great idea. Do you want to get roped in and we can become part? Like, I think there's like different ways you can incentivize people to work with you. And so when people are like, oh, I don't have the money. Well, it's like, well, then do you have time? Do you have like anything else you can offer? Like, what can you offer to someone that if you don't have money, there's something you can do. If you have a great idea, there's a way, and it might take time. Not saying right now you have all this time, but again, this is 3 years in the making. This wasn't somebody rushed to the, to the Kickstarter line. It's like I took my time and I took a break, came back to it with fresh eyes. Erwin and I think there's one point Erwin and I didn't talk about this for like 4 or 6 months, and then we came back and looked at stuff together. And we're like, oh yeah, we need to push this more or something. Like, oh, like it, and that helps so much. Fresh eyes, whether it's your own eyes or someone else's eyes, giving you and the person you're working with fresh pass. I don't know, Erwin, how do you feel about? Do you feel like that? Like, I mean, I always feel like fresh eyes really helped.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. David has a schedule where, he can only spend so much time on this. This was kind of like a side project that we just kept chipping away at. And the work process was always a back and forth. He presents the idea, and then I execute the initial thing. And we keep chipping away at it until he'll bring it to the sculptor, and then they'll keep chipping away at it, or he'll bring it to another artist, Chris Fork or Billy Fowler, and then they'll keep chipping away at it till it's at the point where it looks good. And then you bring it over to the sculptor, and then you got to get to the other point where it looks good. But because of the scheduling, there is like a built-in buffer time where we don't look at it for a while until we do, and then we find, oh, this is where we can push things. Like the 3D, the latest 3D renders. I don't think I've seen that. I remember seeing it before, but seeing it again now, it's new again, and you can see from the initial drawings to where it is now. Like a lot of stuff, a lot of the texture stuff, I just kind of hinted at. It was just a few lines to hint at the texture. The 3D sculpt, it's going to be a physical thing, so the texture has to be defined rather than just mere strokes. Just a few lines on it. And I love how they finalized it. It's so cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Got a couple comments if you guys have time for it. Just a moment. Would you ever do another toy line with more articulation, guys?
So, I mean, it's funny. So, actually, I have another thing I'm working on. It's this. It's my first licensing deal, but I have this thing called Kaiju Doom, which is my Godzilla meets Devilman Safubi toy. This is what I worked on with Erwin Papa after the little mini Monsters. So this is like our second endeavor, and this, like, he has a turtle shell full of like demon faces on the back.
Dude, I saw this at Monster Palooza. It's fucking wild, man.
I love that.
It's Safubi near. You like Safubi near, right?
Yeah. As long as there's no foam stress ball inside it, then I'm good.
So these were
this thing was wild in fucking person, man. I still remember it.
Yeah, these are really fun. So the next one in the line is the Hero Demons. This is the guy who's gonna fight him, and this is a neutral posed. And this isn't the color. This is just, we painted it this way just so that logo pops. He'll get some cool color. But this one he'll be offered just this way initially, and then I'm already talking to some people about how it can like make. This is a guy where I feel like you can hide articulation really good just in the design.
Yeah. That's so fucking good, man.
I am such a fan. I'm such a fan of Devilman and Guyver. So what you're doing is just right up my alley, man. Like that's.
Hey, what scale is that gonna be? What size is that gonna be?
So this is gonna be the size of the actual when we do the Safubi. I know, and he's gonna be part Safubi, part not like plastic, but he's in scale like ish with these guys. But when we do the articulated one down the road, like that's gonna be way after this guy. But that's like my first thought of like going for an articulated figure is taking this guy. And then here's a work in progress of the final boss. This is the third demon god, the final boss. And this is going to be...
Oh, that is sweet.
So, I mean, I think you guys can see like the inspiration for each of these.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
First guy's giant turtle, demon skull. Second guy's giant lizard, but his he has two tails and they have heads. And then this guy's giant flying creature with a knife head.
No, but it's when you see it up close, Jay, like it's got to be one of the most detailed like sculpts that I've seen. Like there was just so much like shit that was going on inside it, and it's not that big. Like it's
they're
like
clunky,
there's just so much action in the fucking thing. It's wild.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's my first thought. And then if Monsters becomes like successful and becomes bigger, like down the line, I love the idea of doing like a superposable line. Like take Shamumu, give the file to someone, be like, go. Like I want to finger fuck that thing. I want to be like, who wants, you know what I mean? Like who wants to take this and who wants to articulate? Like, I would talk to anyone. Like I just like, do you want to make this like show me what you want to do? I'm not gonna be like, oh, change this. I'm like, take this and go. Like, you know what I mean? And that would be a fun thing down the line to do. Like, but I want to, like you said, near earlier, like kind of focus on the thing, be the best at that thing first, and then expand to like technology and aliens and expand to super articulate. Like do this. And that's something I love some of these other guys that are doing these other Kickstarters, but I think like a lot of people keep biting off a lot of stuff. Not saying they can't do it. It's just, it's like, it's a lot of work just to do these two figures and a couple of variants based on them.
Yeah.
And, just, I say do the thing, do a few things really well. And then once you've learned from it, you can do the next thing that much better, faster, more efficient, whatever. So don't bite off more than you can chew. So for me, Monsters, nail that. I have Kaiju Doom going as a licensing deal with this company called Acro. It was my first licensing deal ever. I basically, Paul Komoda, who did the little minifigures in Super Sculpey, I taught him ZBrush on these things. That's why they're so crazy. They're supposed to be this big. And when he was digitally sculpting, like, oh, we're making those big. Those are too fucking cool. So they went from like this big to like this big. And then this Japanese company Acro saw them, like, we're making these things. So yeah, that was, and then Vegs, the artist name, his artist name is Vegsadon, did this one. He's a Ukrainian based artist. He's amazing. He's one of those guys, just like, he's like an it. Like, he has it. You know what I mean? It just, everything he does is amazing. Just like Paul, just like Erwin. I always try and like find the people that are like, not like that. I have to spell it out exactly for them. Like this artist, I gave him a mood board, and it was Guyver, Ultraman, Curse of Spawn was on there.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Attack on Titan, Colossal Titan. I'm just like, these are the things I want to see. And then I want blades coming out of his arm like Baraka, you know? So just like, that was just like my hit combo. But
so good.
yeah, so it's like the other. So I have Monstors is my effort now. Like Kaiju Doom came after Monstors. Monstors started first, but Kaiju Doom happened quicker than another company wanted to make it.
Monstors had a long gestation period.
Yeah, but then Kaiju Doom also another company wanted to make it, so he's like, "I got this." I'm like, "Thank you, here you go." And he just, you know what I mean, just like went, and I'm like, "Yeah, I got." And the first two, the Lizard Demon, the Turtle Demon, sold well enough that he wanted to make the Hero Demon and the giant flying demon. So I got, and that to me, it's important to show like, for the all in, yeah, some. For the Monsters, I'm still finalizing what the all-in thing is going to be. I was talking with Nier a little bit about looking at what other people have done. Do I make like different all-in tiers, or I just go like, you know, like bronze, silver, gold? Like, should I just go 3? Like, here's all-in for these 4. Here's all-in for the main variants, and here's the super exclusive variant. So I'm trying to.
I mean, you'll probably have an easier time. All-in gets tricky when like you get like unlocks. That's it gets complicated because like how can you like all in when you haven't unlocked things? So that's where I always get confused. I got a little confused on the Brutal Realm campaign because there was like and I like that stuff, and it was just but the campaign itself was just like, and I also got confused on the Spiro toys when it was like all in, but then it was like stuff hasn't been unlocked yet. So but I think you'll have a simpler time because like there's not are you going for like unlocks? Are you doing all that stuff or
so I like the idea of doing some unlocks but not making it so it like totally muddies the water. So I'm already like I've ran like 5. I don't take this lightly at all. Like I've gone through so many different scenarios of like pricing, how to bundle stuff. Like, yeah, I want to sell the figures as a set because to me the big part of it is like the ores, right? So like, hey, if you buy one, it's $55. If you buy both, it's $99, $99.98. I forget what it's gonna be. So it incentivizes people to like, well, sure. I'll get both. And then when it comes to all ins, it's like I want to make it incentivized where it's like it's more unique shit, more colors that all make sense, not kind of like, right. Well, I guess I'm doing this. And then when it comes to like unlocks and stretch goals, it's like, do I make these like, is there a way to do free add-ons to incentivize people who have already invested to be like, we gotta hit 200,000 because if we do, we all get a little knife toy. You know, it's like, do we do that, or do I make it like stretch goal, like super cheap add-ons that you only get at Kickstarter? So if you get the all-in, the only way you can get these add-on, like if you have all-in, you got all-in. But then if you this unlock happens, it's $5, or it's only $5, but it should be a $10 thing. You know what I mean? Or it should be a $20 offering to you for cost because I want to reward you. Or this thing will be free because I can amortize that across everything. So I'm trying to keep the unlocks. Tommy said there should be a sketchbook. Erwin's art's too good not to do something. So instead of doing like a physical one, we're going to like just to make our lives a little bit easier. I think we're going to do a digital PDF download. That way people also get something sooner. You know, like, hey, we have this done. It gives me time to work on it. Then, hey, if we're shipping 9 months out, you know, from when I don't know when we're going to actually ship. That's something I'm still working on with Chris. But like, if the campaign ends mid-October and it ships after Chinese New Year, like June next year, can I get people something in March to hold them off? Can it be a digital can I put together a digital download book? And then can I make that like the thing that holds them off until I do a physical printed book?
I think you should, man, because just looking at the art just now, I'm just like, dude, that art's hot, man. Somebody said, do you have a wizard in this toy line? Well, the bird is.
Yeah.
The bird is the wizard. But
Do you have that picture, Jay, of all like it's like it shows like 20 characters again?
Yep.
You can pull that one up if you wanted to. I mean, it's like hopes and dreams. It's not like guaranteed 20 characters.
You know what you gotta do, David? You gotta come up with like
Tell me what I have to do, Nier. Okay,
this is what
you
have
be the
to
art
do.
director.
Okay, I'm gonna be the art director. You got to come up, and I can help you with this, with almost like a Pokemon style song. That remember how in back in the day it was like Pikachu, this and that, and you went through it. So you should since you have all these characters, I think you need to come up with like a song, and you should probably sing it yourself with like all of the different, you know, and have like a hook, you know, because look at all these beautiful characters. I think you need to kind of take the Pokemon approach. And
should I do like Shamu, I choose you, Sting Cobra, you're a big jerk, you know, like some like that.
Maybe work on the lyrics a little bit. I wouldn't go with what you just started with, but like I think that with some work, I think that would be hot.
Cool.
Monster rap. Look, Tatsi is saying monster rap right there.
Yeah.
I got a monster or two. I'm gonna use it over Pikachu. What?
Dude, this piece of art right here, like that's a fucking poster, man. Like I know that this is like the art and it kind of got superimposed together, but like it just looks fucking rad.
Thanks, like, man. It was a lot more work to composite it all together because I wanted them to pop. So there's a lot of drop shading, a lot of subtle gradients behind characters. So it felt like there's depth. Like I thought I could just take Irwin's art and just slap it all together. I'm like, this is it took me like forever to make this look like it kind of gelled a bit more than
it does gel though. It does really gel. We have some love from people like Escar Bro. Dude, let's go over the names because the names are creative. Yeah. I do have to give you kudos that Escar Bro made me laugh the first time I heard it, and now I'm still laughing because I know what he is. But Jake, can you find the names? Can you go to the thing that had because the names? Yeah. As a writer myself, as a scribe myself, I do have to give you some kudos to your naming convention. You got Shamumu, we got Sting Cobra, Bulltooth with the derp face. I love him. Venomnom.
I love that.
Eric Barnes, my writing partner, came up with Venomnom. I think he came up with Bulltooth too, but they're supposed to have like less punny, like so they're supposed to be derpier and then less punny. Just kind of like throwaway, like think of Star Trek red shirts, right? Just kind of like Bulltooth, whatever. All right, Venomnom. But Berserker, I think Irwin came up with Berserker. Bone Picker was Aiden Casterly, the guy who came up with the original idea for him. Woolly Rameth was my cousin Jake. And then Escarbro. So
I love that.
This is before DesignerCon 2022, I think. So Mandy, who I think you met near, she's the redheaded girl that's at the booth with me most of the time. She's my wife's best friend. She's like my sister. She goes to all the conventions with me. She's my booth babe. And she's very single for any men out there who like they're redhead. You know, I'm pimping her out at cons and stuff. She loves it. But her and Kelly, they're great with puns. So they're sitting there looking. I printed out all the art for all the characters at that time, and I'm like, all right, his name was Snail Bro, and it wasn't like a name. It was just like I needed something for people to react to. And I find, and this is the same with art, it's better to give someone something to react to, even if it's bad, than give them nothing, right? So I'm like, all right, Snail Bro, like that's dumb. And then she's like, Escar Bro. So Mandy came up with that name, and I'm like, dude,
Bro is you know why? Because like Escar Bro is right out of like, and again, it's not like a ripoff thing, but it's right out of like the Playmates Handbook of like, I could see back in the day they would have come out with like a dude named Escar Bro, and he's like, hey turtles, let's fucking, you know, like he's just like that kind of dude, just talks like a frat boy or whatever. So I think I love it.
I think there was in one of the toys that Time Forgot, or Blake Wright's book, like hardcover books have, I think there's 3 I forgot if it's toys that Time Forgot or the toys that almost were. There's 3 of them. I forgot if it was Ninja Turtles or if it was Bucky O'Hare, but one of them had a snail character. I think it had Escar in the name somehow. Okay. And I didn't know, fully, like Mandy came up with this completely separate from that, but I think there was like a snail character, but it was never made. And I was like, that's such a shame because snails. So when talk with Irwin, we came up with a list of like cool animals we had to hit, you know, and so
I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, this would be no, it really would. I everything I say is for real.
You're not
Chomp,
lying. I like it. You know, it's good.
Chomp Beak, Thudhorn, Stankhog. The
When
details on these things are like I just the art. Also, I'm just looking at the art. Windclaw, Hammerclaw, Crash Tuskhorn. I like Little Nash Axe. I love a maniacal little guy.
So so a lot of these names, like Windclaw, he has a different name now. It's Windfang because Hammerclaw stuck. I love Hammerclaw. It's a hammerhead shark lobster guy. So Hammerclaw, I didn't want Claw twice, so we went back and changed. I think Windclaw is Windfang. And we wanted Erwin and I were talking about like having diversity in the offering. So like Stankhog is a skunk warthog, and that was a character designing originally created by Aiden Casterly. Some of these artists I work with, I just give them like free reign to come up with a character. And
look how good that is.
Aiden did the first pass, and my buddy Christopher so Erwin did the second pass, then Christopher Flork did this pass, and he evolved from just like Berserker is going to be like a wild card character. He's not good or bad. He's just like a force of nature, like the Tasmanian Devil. And Stankhog was going to be kind of the same thing, but I'm like, I already have one of those. I don't want another one of those real soon. So I was thinking he'd be like a Wasteland character, like a Mad Max character. But then I'm like, you know what? I don't have a pirate, and pirates are disgusting. And they have a parrot, so he has his rat and his fly, and he's a skunk warthog. He's supposed to be the disgusting, madball, stinky, like
I love it, man.
kid. Yeah, he's gonna be the.
I love this. This is right up my alley.
So he's
like, unfortunately, it's right up my alley.
So Thumper Buck was a reuse character, and so was Nash Axe. They were both I had these other random ideas I just threw at Erwin, like, and I don't want to say the names because they might become something else, but these two I removed from something else. I'm like, you know what? I'm bringing them over here. Nash Axe was originally just going to be a guinea pig gladiator, but I'm like, you know what? We need a cute furry warrior in this world, so I gave him a squirrel tail, just make him like that's his animal hybrid. He's a guinea pig squirrel. And then Thumper Buck is based on, you know, like just a jackalope. And it's just like, I like the idea of like jackalopes from, you know, are always like a cute rabbit with big antler horns. I'm like, what if he's just like the most roided out like we need something to battle Berserker down the road. So that's him.
I love the psychotic tick.
Thumper Buck's face. I mean,
I love the psychotic tick.
He's insane. He literally is fucking insane.
Yeah, so he comes from, in the world map, he comes from the frozen fungi forest. So the idea is there's a forest that's just giant mushrooms that are frozen over.
Shrooms, man.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
So
yeah,
the shrooms, it's snowing, but it's the fungal pores. And when you inhale them, you go insane. And not like in a in a bad way, just like, you know, mushrooms, you know, and then you're in a frozen forest and you get high and you get lost and you freeze to death. So
he comes from a place where he's continuously in a state of in an elevated state. It almost seems like
he's in a trance state.
Yeah.
So he just
did he bite his own ear off, or was that an attack?
We're gonna find out. That's part of the allure to the story. We don't know. Like we don't. Why is he missing this?
Dude, I love the energy. Like his face. Yeah, we keep talking about like the rat face. Wait, I want to see just the rest of the ones to the left of Thumperstein. Crash Tuskhorn.
Working on that name, but he's I want a hippo, I want a rhino, so we just ended up merging them together into a hippo rhino. So
that's a hippo rhino.
I love it.
Where else are you gonna get a hippo rhino?
Well, you give them enough time, they might make it. I mean,
I know. I hope people are appreciating. I hope people are appreciating these hybrids because they're very artful. Let's go to the left.
You put the two together, and you know the magic happens. I don't know.
This is one I'm particularly stoked for because I love my underwater guys. So I want a hammerhead shark since an orca's not a shark. You know, this is my shark character. You know, so it's a hammerhead shark. Then I want another claw hand, so he's gonna get lobster claw. And he's gonna have like a lobster scalloped back going down to the tail. So it'll be a fun.
All right, let's. I think we got one more row, right?
We got one more row. We got.
Dude, these are so much fun, man. I'm having a good time. Okay, this guy's question mark. This is like a boss fight.
Yeah, so he was a man. He's like a manticore, right? So
Yeah.
he's gonna be a lot. Like he was kind of the original idea was like going for like a food dog, like going for something like more Chinese, you know? So
Oh,
going for
interesting. Yeah.
So I thought like a cool lion, and then I'm like, I want to go for a lion with like dragon wings, and I don't know where dragon wings come from in this world, but like, let's just go for that. And Christopher Floor came up with this idea, and we gave it goat horns to kind of bring in that manticore thing. So, yeah, his idea is that he's a living god because he has more than one animal. He's a lion, a lizard, dragon, bat thing, and he's got goat horns. So to him, he's like a
he's like a Voltron of animals, right?
yeah. So he's a couple more things. Same with, and then you'll see another character that also is multiple things in a different way. But Crocodillo's a really fun.
I love Crocodillo's great.
Just love the idea of him turning into a ball of spikes and just rolling it like a Mega Man villain, you know, just like
so
Mega
cool,
Man
yeah.
X.
Yeah, love it.
And then Bug Boss is a mutant of all the bugs mashed together. Think of it like, you think of like what creepy crawlers and all that like bug insectoid, like all that weird, like people love bugs and insects. I'm like, let's treat them different in this world. They come from the Garba Gorge. So they're more mutated stuff. They're not like look like a natural being. They're more like abominations. And I think that'd be a fun way to play with like the insect world is less like a clean mashup and more of like, an Akira monster, like Tetsuo, no! Just like this giant thing. So I want to break the format.
You guys have a lot of like, I didn't notice, but when you said work in progress, I thought it was kind of like scribbles on a napkin. These are like really well thought out. Like the rhino hippo is great. They're all really good. I'm just saying my favorites. So I love the rhino hippo. I love the fucking rabbit and what's the one above him that we were talking about? The tank hog. That might be my favorite in that stank hog. These are just such cool hybrids of animals. They're so good, man.
Tommy's loving that hog too, man. Like Tommy's all in on that hog.
Yeah, and I think there's a way to like look at these where it's like when you approach anything, it's not like the first idea is always the best. Even though I think Shamumu is a super strong and Sting Cobra like a really strong first two out of the gate. But then when Erwin and I were looking at like casting a wider net with more characters, and a lot of these he either fully designed himself or had a hand in to some degree, because again, like a lot of these were done right before DesignerCon. Erwin's like, dude, I have like 8 other things I'm working on. So Erwin helped me. He focused on Thudhorn Chompy because I wanted him to help me figure out like how to approach dinosaurs, which is going to be like a mashup. Like basically Bone Picker found a pile of bones and didn't know how to put them together. And he has this magical substance that becomes a big story element called the Gwoop. And when he uses the Gwoop, it brings things back to life. And so he creates 2 really dumb, big, buff muscle men. And I just love the idea of a pterodactyl head character, like on a bipedal body, Like you can see it's like, oh, there's an animal femur for the arm. Like it's not like an arm. It's like, oh, that belongs on the leg. But it's like, this goes here, like he just had no idea what he was doing. You get these 2 big muscle men dudes. So we want to find a way.
There's no I mean, you'll be the one to answer this question, but like there's no hard fast rules that next wave, let's say this one becomes successful, that you can't come out maybe with more than 2 characters, you know what I mean? Like maybe wave 2 has 3 or something, you know what I mean? To I don't know, be able to get more guys at once or something.
So the idea I have right now for wave 3, like if again, just trying to like plan ahead, and again, things can always change. Like I'm still up to Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. I'll be working on like what the tiers are and the price, you know what I mean? It's like things are never in stone up until they have to be. But I think a lot of people love Berserker, so he's to me definitely in.
Yeah, that guy's a lock for sure.
Yeah. I think Woolly Mammoth brings a lot because people love elephant characters. We're bringing in a mammoth take on it. The ram horns. He has the tusks are his weapon. Like he has one tusk as a weapon, and the story element is he's mad because he can't find the other one. So he's like running around beating people up looking for his lost tusk. And then Berserker and him having both hair characters, like having them mix and match in wave 2.
I guess that's now that I'm thinking about it, it's important for them to mix and match. So maybe it has to be like double up. So because we probably can't like have too many that can mix and match. But yeah,
I thought Bone Picker would be a strong third one because he breaks the rule of like the buff brawler bro. So I'm introducing like that element. He brings magic in, and then he's supposed to be like the main villain. He's supposed to be like the main architect villain of like this world. And so it's like trying to does he fit in that line? And then also, can we go back and amortize some of that tooling again and do another unique variant of Shamu Musing Cobra? Like Erwin and I are working on 2 new characters, doing new heads, new weapons, kind of like Bulltooth Venom Nom that would use the body for those characters. Maybe even if we bring off the shoulder pad on Shamu, we can give this new character like a different like shell on Shamu, and he has a totally different head, totally different weapon. Maybe the cowbell's not on there. So like wave 2 can be 3 new characters instead of just 2. Then we can bring in variants from the past thing without, again, like I don't want to make it too complicated either. You know, I don't want to make it like, oh, here's 20 new things to worry about. And then here's variants on variants. Like I like the idea of doing less like colorways on things that I don't have to, and trying to like bring in more characters. But at the same time, like you have to make that cost work. So I'd rather come in with 3 new characters that have fewer variants each, and then bring in like a new Shamu Moon, new Sing Cobra for people that missed out on the first stuff, you know? So that's what I'm thinking. Then wave 3 might be 4 characters. I don't want to go like from 2 to 5 to 20. You know, it's like go from 2 to 3.
No, I think it's a reasonable ask. And yeah, I think I can't wait till this goes live. So this goes live. Let's just talk some fucking business, boys. This goes live on Tuesday. Okay.
This Tuesday.
Launching September 10th. How long are you going for? What's the
It's a 30-day. So I think that makes it end on October 9th. I think is the 30-day mark.
October 9th. September 10th is when Monstors is when you can lock these down. They're going to be great. They're beautiful. I've seen them up close now twice. Never held them because David's a dick. But from what I've seen,
you come in with your filthy hands like I just have. All right, let me hold the. I'm like, oh, you just ate a hot dog on a convention floor. You disgusting.
No, that's not. I don't eat convention hot dogs. He's lying. It was a bag of Cheetos, and that's okay. But you can wipe it off. I think the Monstors line. I'm very excited. I've been excited about this one for like 2 fucking years, or it seems like 2 years, but I guess it's been a year. But a lot of people on the channel are going to be interested in this, and yeah, let's go big or go home, man. As they say. I think, yeah,
I'm excited. I'm very excited about this line. I really want it to do well. Again, it hits that nerve, you know, in your inner child. Because these are all animals. Like what person doesn't love animals to a certain degree, you know? And then being able to mix and match them and just do this crazy juxtapositioning of all of these different creatures is just beautiful. And of course, I love the psychotic nature of some of them. I love the fact that most of them are just dumb brutes, you know. And there's something lovable about a dumb brute. You know what I mean? There's just something like it's like you want to cuddle that thing. It's like oh, come here. You know what I mean? They're all just really adorable creatures who could kill you. I mean, great. That's who doesn't want that? That's freaking amazing. Yep. Launching September 10th, 2024, 30 days, guys. Not a lot of time, but I think that
it's enough time.
Yeah, but with enough buzz, I think we can really get people excited about this and definitely get people you know, interested. The designs themselves speak for themselves, but obviously, I think that a lot of people, like, you know, we've seen a hell of a lot of people in the chat alone. I mean, you know, people are really chomping at the bit for all these crazy. But here's a really interesting note: has BBTS got involved or any other retailer? We did see just as a little bit of history. We did see that BBTS really came through for Brutal Realms. They were coasting, like they were pretty much under the water for a while. BBTS came in with their support and gave them a kick in the ass that just propelled them into the stratosphere. So not that it's something you're looking into, but is that something that I guess people are curious? Like Justin wanted to find out. If that's
Yeah,
something.
and I get there's people that no matter what want to only buy from me. Like I'm kind of the same way with certain things. It's like, oh, here's the place I know. I have an account. I have my pile of loot, so I totally get it. I was of the mind for the longest time that it would be like competing with myself in a weird way if I involve them too early. But at the same time, everyone I've talked to is like, you should totally get involved with them sooner than later because it helps with visibility. Because no matter what, there's going to be people, even if they want your Kickstarter, they wouldn't buy it unless it's from them. So might as well just like open up the door, talk to them. So I'm going to be talking with Joel hopefully in the next week or two about like what would like how this could make sense. So it's like a win-win because you know, like it's hard to compete with what they can do. Like, I mean, they can offer your own product cheaper than you can because they have that reach, right? Like if I were to go totally independent, my reach is only so far, but their reach is so much that they could like help my unit cost drop. Then I've already sold for this and they can get, so it's one of those weird things. Obviously I'm a huge fan. They have a ton of my money. And I would love to like getting on there is like huge, you know, it's like getting your like shit into what like any like bit like getting your toys on there is like huge, you know. So I definitely am going to talk to Joel, see how we can make this make sense. And he might not even want it. I would hope he would. I hope he would be like, oh yeah, I could sell this. So I got to talk to him about that. But and then I do have for smaller retail store like local mom and pop shops or whatever, I can't offer that big of a discount. But I worked on retailer tiers for the Kickstarter itself, just for people that might want to like, I just want to buy 8 and sell them in my shop. Be like, cool, I can't give you the biggest discount, but you can save X amount per, and here's what your savings would be. So you could sell them for this amount in your store and make some money without it being, you know, too crazy for me. And are there any exclusive tiers to look out for? So we're still working on that. I think a lot of stuff I want to open to everyone at like even after the thing, but at the same time, like some things have to be exclusive to Kickstarter. So the pricing for the sets are going to be uniquely cheap to Kickstarter. We're going to have a Kickstarter exclusive like blue clear variant for Shamumu. So it's like water energy. Then we're going to do the green translucent variant for Sting Cobra. So it's like green, like evil green energy. And those are cool. You know, like they'll be like Kickstarter only. And then the glow in the dark version, I thought about making it Kickstarter only, but I think that's one that's like a lot of toy collectors love the glow in the dark stuff. So I think I'm going to
I wouldn't limit that. I don't think just to Kickstarter. But it is nice to have like only Kickstarter things as long as you don't go crazy. So people that don't get in don't feel like I missed, you know, a big boat. But I think these are going to do really well, and I'm very excited. This is one that I've been excited for a while. We've been talking for a long time about this. Like, you know, just I can't imagine how long you've been talking and you've been like gestating on this, because I personally have been like, all right, what's going on? And you know, not that it was a rush, because like obviously these things take time, but like this is one that I feel like I'm connected to this one, and I just really wanted to just go big, and I want to get those other characters too down the line. I want Woolly Mammoth, and I want Crazy Skunk, fucking
Stank Hog, baby.
Stank Hog, like I want all those motherfuckers. So
can I give you can I do a share screen on my side, Jay? Can I give you guys I wasn't gonna do this, but I thought, you know, to thank you guys and everyone else. I'm not gonna show the full thing, but I want to give you a taste of the beginning of the toy commercial I've been working hard on. So I haven't shown any of you I know Erwin and Near, you guys have seen a version of this, but this is Near, I forgot if you saw a version of it, but this is like, so I was very lucky
version.
Yeah, so I'm very lucky that I Orctopus. I'm stealing that Orctopus.
Orctopus. That's awesome.
Orctopus.
I have been writing all the animals.
That's awesome.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and that's what I love. Like again, like half the names are from like all different people. It's not like that's the one person, but yeah. So I was very lucky to. Oh, okay. Let me find it. Let me get it ready before I do my thing. All right. So a little history. If you guys are good, I want to I'm not gonna play the whole thing because I want to save it. But like the first like 2 scenes. So I had this idea. I've always wanted to do a toy commercial that's like super retro. And I was even when I was doing my own research for this Kickstarter, and I don't even know Flipboard was a thing until after it was over. I'm like, how the hell did I miss this? Because I'm an idiot with following anything. Dude, when my job is like, I can't listen to anything because it's like my job is like writing emails and art directing on phones. And then when I'm done with that at night, I like watch TV, play video games, go to bed. So people are like, oh, don't you like listen to audiobooks or listen to podcasts? I'm like, dude, there's no time in my day to do that. And I wish there was more. But so near where the Monsterpalooza I saw you at recently, there's a guy that came up and he had this super fancy camera equipment. And my buddy Mandy, who was helping out, was talking to him. And she's like, you look really important. You should talk to Dave. And this guy, his name is Mitch. And he has this thing called Rad Cine, which is like Rad Cine. It's like CINE. And he had this awesome thing. He's like 42. So he's about the same age I am. He's like, dude, these are awesome. I have no idea what these are, but I want to make a toy commercial. I'm like, I want to make a toy commercial. And he's like, I'm a director of photography for indie horror movies. I'm like, I am not any of those things. So let's talk toy commercials. So
Yeah.
we talked. He gave me a really sweet deal. It still is not cheap. There's actually like another vanity thing within the thing. But I'm just like, I think this just helps push that nostalgic feel of like trying to tell everyone what's in my brain, not only visually with these toys, but then also what's screaming in the back of my head. So I came up with this pitch deck. I pitched it to, Mitch. He helped me figure out a quote. We found a location. A buddy of mine helped me build a set. He built the set for me. I brought the things. I got child actors that struggled a little bit with the material, so I had to do some creative cutaways and stuff. And and then when it came to editing, I was like, I don't know how this is all going to work together, but I had a script. So I did all the temp voiceover work myself just so we could find the pacing. I'm like, you know what? I can't like my voice. But then a friend of a friend is the voice of Spear from Primal. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the cartoon show Primal, like the super violent caveman on top of the T-Rex that murders dinosaurs.
Love it. Love it.
So the guy who voices Spear has become a buddy of mine. His name's Aaron LaPlante. His voice is, he doesn't talk in the show. He goes, it's like all he does in the show is grunt, yell, scream, murder. So I'm like, dude, I have this toy commercial. He's like, I want to do the voice. I'm like, awesome. So you're going to see in this toy commercial, you're going to see kid actors how to edit around, and you're going to hear my voice. I do the Shamumu Sting Cobra voices. You're going to hear this other guy. So I just want to kind of like preface it with like, this came together so randomly and amazingly. I'm so happy with it. And I literally got the final edit today. So here's the first world exclusive. How do I do a share screen? How do I do it?
Present at the bottom. Present.
Oh, present. Present. Yeah. I'm present.
Yeah. Present.
Share screen.
Share screen. Share. No, don't share
screen.
You want to share screen or do you want to share video? Because there's two different ones.
Is this working? Can you see my black screen?
No. Yeah.
Present.
How do we do this? The browser can't access your screen. Try capturing a different screen. All right, let me try it. Present. Video file. There you go. Oh, I have to upload it?
No, you don't upload it. No, it's not upload. It's just you have to find it. That's all.
Oh, I have to find it. I don't think it's in there. Is it? All right, let me copy paste the video somewhere where I can find it more easily. Because my sorry, this is I thought I could just do a share.
If you put it on your desktop, it's easy to find.
Jay, what animal would you be?
What animal would I be? I'm already a whale. I don't have to think about that. I mean, like, I'm already there.
What about you?
Me?
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Can I control this here, or do you have to control it?
You can control it. So what happens is you'll see the timeline. It'll start playing. Okay, just hit pause when you're ready, and I'll.
Where's the timeline? Oh, it'll just be on the screen, and I can.
You'll see. Okay, as soon as it starts playing, actually, I'll control it. How long do you want to run it until? Just tell me stop.
I'll hit. Just be ready. I'll hit pause. All right.
That's it. All right. Ready?
Cool. All right.
Ready. 3.
World premiere.
All right. Ready? Hold up.
New toy line of beastly buff brawler bros battling it out to see who will reign supreme. Monsters! I'm Shamumu, the oceanic battle boss.
And I'm Sting Cobra, the venomous spike scoundrel.
Who will win this epic battle between the first two monsters?
You're going down.
That's a great voice.
Yeah, that was amazing. Holy crap. That was
Oh,
incredible.
man.
Oh my god.
That's, I just don't want to spoil. I want to save something for the campaign, but I just
Look how
want to give you guys a flavor of what's to come. You know,
That was crazy. There's a lot more. There's like another 20
Dude,
seconds.
the way the guy shouts monster.
I love it. That is so awesome. I love the two kids too. Whose kids are those? Those are some happy kids, man.
Those are Igo's real kids, right?
no, they're family friends of Mitch, the cinematographer, and they're great, super nice kids. But I couldn't get that. I thought like the kids would do the voices, like the girl would be like, "I'm Shamumu," and the boy would be like, "I'm Sing Cobra," but they were really shy about it. They were cool about, like, you could see, cool with playing and moving the toys, but yeah, like the close up where like Sting Cobra's walking, that's me, because I couldn't get the boy to make him walk properly, and then the close up of Shamumu rotating his arms is another friend, like another person on the set, because we only had so much time with the kids. But
No,
yeah,
it's great, man. You captured that. You captured that 90s.
That 80s flavor, man. Look at that.
All that it's missing is the VHS filter.
Yeah, the filter lens.
we did a version of that, so like had a weird contrasty look and all that stuff. We might do a variant of that later down the road, but yeah, so that set was built by buddy Darth
That's a
Rimmer.
nice-
You got your own
I was
playset. You got your own playset here.
Dude,
God,
I was gonna say the first thing that caught me, I was like, "That's a nice ass set, man."
Yeah, it's made of foam. Like I gave him some so we have actually like I have a few pieces of concept art for the cartoon show pitch I'm working on. So I have an outline, I have the world map, I have some of the environment art, and I gave him the magma mountains with this awesome concept art for him. Like, make this into a set, and he just crushed it in a week, and it actually lights up, so the mouth and the eyes. I want it to look like a jack-o'-lantern, but with not just two eyes, but like it has like all these different holes, so it's not just a face. And then he made all these.
I also love that you brought in a fucking smoke machine.
Yeah. I love the atmosphere. Atmosphere is awesome.
There's a lot of smoke machines. So Jay, actually in the back package I gave you, there was a teaser. I was gonna just it was just shows the beginning. That was what I was gonna show you. I thought it was the one. Erwin cut me some reels out of all the behind the scenes footage. And there's one Erwin got that the girl who's doing the behind the scenes footage got of me with the smoke machine, and my hair is up in a ponytail. I'm just like the happiest kid in the world, just like shooting smoke all over this table.
Is that on a green screen, or is that like a tarp or something? Okay.
So there's a tarp behind them, and the rest of it, like so the really dark thing just over their shoulders, kind of like in the middle, was like a tarp thing, and then the rest of it's green screen. So it's just a couple quick shots. That's why it's like, what it is. It's just fun.
Yeah, you went crazy.
I love it. I think the production value alone, the fact that you built that thing in the middle is awesome.
You know what's crazy? Some behind the scenes here. I think Hatter was trying so hard to find some kids to work with for our commercial. Never. So he said, "Screw it. I'll do it myself."
Your commercial was perfect for your thing. It was perfect. It was like, I wouldn't change
what's funny, dude, is I don't want to deviate off your thing, but for my commercial, I had a kid and a dad, and then at the last moment, the dad's like, "Oh, I can't show up because of SAG something or other," and then the kid knew him. And then it was like, "Well, do you want just the kid?" But I was like, "I don't want to direct the kid myself and this and that." So and this was at the 11th hour, dude. So I just was like, "Fuck it," And it was one of those things that worked out because it was like, people know the channel, so it was like a funny me looking like an idiot, making a fool out of myself. But like, that I don't think that would like. This is sort of close to what I wanted to do, but more in like a jokey flipboard way. But this thing is so cool, man. I think you really did a great job. I can't wait to see the whole thing.
I think so too. I think it's amazing. But David, you went crazy with this teaser, man. Like the smoke is You went smoke happy with this one. I mean, look,
dude.
I can barely see them.
Yeah,
No, dude, no, it's perfect, dude. It's perfect. Because all of those '90s commercials, there was just a ton of fucking dumb smoke that made no sense. And I from the first fucking reel, it's great. I think it's great. I can't wait to see how it all.
You didn't even remove the reticle. It's still there.
Oh, yeah.
It's
dude. Even
the marker is still there.
I'm sure you can take out the reticle in post.
no, we wanted it because that's from behind the scenes footage of a girl recording the camera, recording the thing. So like we kept weird stuff in there.
Gotcha.
But
the monster, the voiceover with the guy screaming monsters is great.
That was
awesome. Really
yeah.
cool.
Aaron's first pass was amazing, but it was a little bit too chill and slow. And I was like, I was like, I need you to start at a 10, and it goes to a 13 battle cry. I'm just like,
great.
So all the new takes he did, he's like, this is all I can do from you because I will ruin my voice. He's a professional voice actor, so he did. Dude, I listened. He gave me just one track of all the takes and one thing, and I was laughing so hard. He did three different versions of that Monsters. He was screaming in every one. He was like, Monster. I just like different ones. I'm like, I get to pick I'm just like, this guy's voice has to be ruined. There's a horrible analogy in there somewhere, but like he did so great, and the rest of the commercial he does such good. I didn't want to. I still want to keep playing it, but part of me is like, I gotta save it for like the later on thing. But I'm glad to share that with you guys. I'm glad because his voice is just like what I hear with like it's not only 80s, but it's like that getting to the weird early 90s extreme, like Mountain Dew and Taco Bell, and
it definitely had that like do like I want to drink some Mountain Dew now, like as a result of that fucking commercial. So
it's that monster truck commercial. We'll sell you the whole seat, but you only need the edge.
Oh my god! Yeah.
For some reason, I keep seeing David as like some Stanley Kubrick character that like basically emotionally broke those kids, because he wanted them just to do take after take after take.
If you're not crying, you're not acting. What are you doing?
I do have all the behind the scenes stuff, and I am working on a documentary.
You're working on it.
Looking into all the conspiracies that I've.
He's like, when you were holding that Shamumu, I didn't really believe that you were having fun with Shamu. He's like, I don't know.
I would pay hundreds of dollars to have a whole take of me working for the first 30 minutes of these kids because they were really shy. I think they were told you're going to be in a toy commercial, and that was it. So when they showed up, I showed them the toys, showed them like the storyboards, the set. They're like, "What?" It's like, all right, who's going to be Shamu? Who's going to be Sting Cobra? And it was like my first, I think I'm I work really well with kids. Not saying like I've done this before, but like anytime a friend of mine brings their kids over, they like love me because I'm like a kid at heart. I'm like, hey man, what's going on? Oh my god, yeah, and there's like Uncle Dave. Like every kid I meet, like I become their like Uncle Dave because I just like I know how to connect with kids. And even this one, I'm like, I'm not connecting with them to get what I need out of this. And now it just became a challenge into like, what can I get out of them? And again, I'm glad we got the best of them out of those few shots because that's like and there's a shot that comes up after that I'm really excited. There's like how we introduced the oars is awesome in this. I want to make this sorry, I'm going to keep talking. You'll eventually have to just like boot me out of this room. Like, Dave, you're done. Shut up.
Oh, no, we stopped going live like.
But I really want to make this like a fun experience, not just like buy my toys and then dip, and then just hope people do it.
I think it's very clear. Your hearts are both both of you. Your hearts are in this, and you put your guts into this thing, which always. I mean, like you could tell this isn't like the Todd McFarlane Kickstarter he just did where he's like, let's do another medieval Spawn, throw it out there, and then we all buy it. You definitely like put your fucking soul into this. So maybe by Kickstarter 10 you'll be more jaded, but like I think now I think it's very obvious that like this is like a passion project. So
100%.
I really want you guys to succeed, and we'll also be moving down the line, pushing this. We'll talk about it some more, and we'll make sure that we get Monstors on like everybody's fucking radar.
Absolutely. So,
Thank you.
guys, pay attention, because this is going to be launching September 10th, 2024. That's only 2 days away. And of course, David and Erwin are very, very excited, as are we, Hatter. I think you and I are more excited than I don't know how you can be more excited, David, but I'm excited. I'm really, really excited.
I've been, dude. I've been. You can ask David. I've been like, come on, what the fuck is going on with this for a while? Keep in mind too, for Kickstarter, just because it's important to people. We're toy collectors. You do not have to pay for anything until the last day of the Kickstarter. So there's really no harm in just locking in right away. You know what I mean? Like lock in. It also, to be honest, builds confidence when people see everybody lock in. You know what I mean? I know there's a lot of people like, I'm going to lock in on the last day, but if you even kind of want it, I'll just lock in right away, and just, because I think a lot of people are going to be happy with this, and I'm excited. And again, we'll be talking about it more as it keeps
Absolutely.
going.
And let's not forget that there's a lot of pedigree here. I mean, David's worked with multiple toy companies. He's been involved in multiple different projects. And Erwin, he's just a passionate designer. And both of these guys are just so excited about this. We're absolutely sure. So guys, please, first of all, I'll put it back in the description right now.
The Monstors.
Monstors.
That's our Instagram is at the Monstors, because someone had Monstors already. I don't know why. So that's our Facebook, our Instagram.
That's I bought that domain when David told me about it. Somebody was asking if you have stickers. So but there's also a question about T-shirts. Is there any?
There's T-shirts, stickers. A lot of people are asking a whole bunch of stuff.
I mean, T-shirts I might do later. Maybe I might do separately, just so like it could be like, I just worry it becomes like a whole thing. Like I want the Kickstarter to be about the figures and things that go with the figures. And when it comes to like shirts and stuff, I might do that like as a separate like thank you thing at cost. Just like, because I mean, if you want to wear a logo or a character shirt, like it just becomes like what's the one piece of art I can do in all these different sizes? Is it the logo? Is it Shamumu? Can I just do it like on one of those print to order sites so everyone can have their own character? Because I think there's something really fun about that. Like I've actually made with Erwin's art, and so I've made character art shirts for everyone that's worked on this project so far. So like one of the sculptors or the people that shot the commercial, I'm like, which one's your favorite character? One person's like, I like Bone Picker. I printed Bone Picker on a shirt, gave it to them. So there's like a handful of shirts already out there, like in the universe. There's quite a few Berserkers out there in the wild, but I've thought about selling them too. It's just like, how do you do it? Do I do a logo? Do I do a print to order, like a print on demand?
I would focus on focus on this for now. Because I think you'll be very overwhelmed very soon. So
and 100%, David, Erwin, give it to us. Send us the pitch. Let's find out what tell the people why they should back this project, and of course how passionate you are, because this is the time. This is the time.
Go, Erwin, you first, baby.
Oh, I mean, this has been years in the making. Day one, I was like super excited to figure out these characters, just starting from Shamumu itself. Like it was a brand new challenge, a brand new design, although it's with TMNT and He-Man and all those 80s and 90s toys, like they've always been an inspiration. Now with David, this is our chance to do that, to recreate that with the classic articulation, with these designs, piling on, different animals together, just coming up with this whole project from the ground up. It's been very exciting, and you can see all the stuff that we've made, the other characters that are not even in this campaign. Like it's set, like we're ready to do more. We just need this one to start, and
Yeah.
this is exciting. Yeah, I'm excited, super excited.
So
Thank
like what?
you, Dave.
Yeah, like what? Yeah, dude, I mean, thank you for being a part of it, Erwin. You're awesome one, and I love that it's like you and so many other. Like, I love being able to work with so many awesome people on it. It's not like us only stuck together and then we get locked in a room together. Then we end up like, I don't know. Like, I'm glad that you get a break. I work with someone else, show it to you, you get to work on it. But yeah, Monsters is like, it basically is like I'm a statue guy that like grew up with toys just like all of us. I'm trying to get back into toys and try and find what was that thing that made me happy. And I want to share that with like everyone else. It's not for everyone. Some people like their transforming robots, some people like their military space marines, and some people like the weird animal hybrid buff body brawler bros. And that's what I want to make more of. And I think I found a formula that makes sense. It works. It's exciting. I'm working with some of the best artists. I pay all the artists fair wages. I'm not trying to like nickel and dime anyone out of anything. I put all my own money into this thing, and that's why it's taken so long too. And something that I've worked out, because I really want to stress people, make this an even more special thing, is that we're working on things which we'll announce in the Kickstarter more formally. But for every 20 sets of these figures we sell, I'm going to donate a set to a children's hospital or Toys for Tots for free.
Oh, wow.
So we want to make it so it's like it's actually giving back to the kids that are like, struggling in life right now, or have had like a real like hard time, and share that with, because I was very lucky. I had a very lucky childhood. I'm very fortunate, and some people didn't have that same experience. I want to be able to give that to them somehow. So for every 20 sets we sell, I'm going to be donating a set. And then we're also going to have, for any of you people, I know everyone that's watching this channel, you're all toy people. You're probably, if you want to buy it, you're going to buy it for yourself. But then there's a lot of people in my life that want to support me or want to support a cause, or hopefully see something like this succeed. And instead of having just a digital like high five, like we're going to have a virtual high five tier 2 that's just like, hey, if you just like us, you just want to throw money at it, that's cool. But we're going to work on a more aggressively lower priced set that's a donation set. So if you buy a donation set, you don't pay shipping or anything. We take it, we donate it to Toys for Tots. It'll be a cheaper set you can pitch into. So I want to make it more than just about us. It's about giving back to people. And that was part of the reason why I was running the numbers and it was struggling, is like, I want to make sure I don't lose money on this, but I want to make it more about like this bigger message. So that's going to be a really fun thing to launch the Kickstarter. It's not just about like us selling toys and making money, but also like finding ways and mechanics that can give back. And I hope that becomes like something other people like, not like copy us, we're the best idea, but I hope other people see that as an opportunity. And, guys like Todd that have money, I'm sure he's already donating money. Like already, he probably has charities he works with, but like, it'd be cool to like make some of these efforts about that as well. Like I really want to find a way to in maybe this one or in future ones, have it like incorporate animal shelters and dog rescues, because I'm a huge animal person. That's also why like I love this stuff, is like, how can we spread that out, So I want to make it about that. And also, if this does blow up, become the next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or whatever, which would be like the best thing in the world, like, be beyond the toys with like cartoon show, tabletop games, movies, video games. Like, I'm going to be sharing that with everyone that contributed. It's not going to be like I'm getting rich, driving away in a Porsche, holding out money bags, and Erwin's just like, what the hell, man? It's like Erwin's going to be a part of the ride. Everyone else has been awesome and contributed. It's going to be a part of the ride. So I want to kind of set a new standard for like helping not just people outside of the campaign, people inside of it, and everyone else. So if you contribute to this, know you're contributing to like a bigger thing, not just a random new toy, and I think that's important for me. So
Awesome.
Thanks. No pressure. Did you guys donate toys, Hatter? I forgot. Did you guys donate any toys?
Oh, I'm going to donate. So I didn't even know that was a thing that you can do.
I didn't know that either. I know you can donate to Toys for Tots, but
Don't worry, David. You know what I'm gonna do, David? I'm gonna match your fucking donations. Okay? You're gonna put me on the spot like that. You're gonna tell me at the end of the day how many donations you got. I'm gonna do them all. Jay, you're a witness. Plus whatever he does, I'm gonna do $100 over.
Oh, here we go.
So
here we go.
You heard it right there.
Love it.
The toy makers begin. This is the throwdown. The throwdown.
I'm not gonna let him chump me like that. All right, guys. Monstors. Two really creative guys. I really respect the hell out of these guys, and I think they're going to do something great, even though David's kind of mean to me. But look it up. It's Tuesday. It goes live Tuesday. We'll be talking about it ad nauseum as we do, but that's what we have to do. We got to fucking push. So and you're going to be making the rounds. I know you're going on Toy Anxiety. You're going to be soon. You're going to be. Those are really good guys, and take advantage of this community for sure. So I think follow this. We'll notify everybody. Kickstarter link in the chat, and look out for Monstors.
Yes.
Thanks so much, guys. And if anyone also, I'm kind of an idiot with like the toy community. Near and I have joked about this for a while. Like I don't know shit about shit. So if anyone has any other ideas or any other things, please reach out to me on the Instagram. At I'm the one that works at social media. I'm kind of an idiot with it. But if you send me a message, just be like, Dave, you should talk to these people, or hey, I have a thing. Like any help would be appreciated. We're trying to spread this as much as we can. So thank you.
Yeah, for sure. If you guys, I know a lot of people do watch this and know other people that do podcasts and toy stuff like that. I think we tried to connect David with a few people, but there's probably there's a lot more people we don't know of. So if you think, let him know, DM him, and or DM whoever is running those things and let him know to reach out, because this is a worthwhile cause, and
100%, guys. So, awesome. Guys, don't forget it starts this Tuesday, September 10th. Get this marked it down. We did put it in the chat, and we will have it in the description later tonight. I want to thank our good friends David Ego and Erwin Papa. Hatter, there's been one heck of a night. Saw some great things, amazing illustrations, incredible work. The 3D artwork. Oh my God. The passion behind this is just incredible, and I want to thank everybody who's involved for this, guys. Congratulations. 2 days, guys. 2 days. Mark your calendars, and let's make a big launch. I think Comics Legend has a good idea. We will probably be doing a live stream when it does launch, and see how it starts to climb. I want to thank everybody who was here tonight. You guys are amazing.
Thank
guys,
you, everyone.
Thank you so much for everything. Skull Fiber Tommy, last comment. Fun show. Thank you, Tommy. Always great to see Tommy in the chats, and of course everybody who's here helping support. A lot of toy photographers in the chat, a lot of people who were just collectors. Guys, don't forget, David, what are we aiming for per figure, and how much are we looking to raise?
$55 for just the one figure, $99 for the set, and that's all like before the shipping will be handled after the fact. So that's like no shipping or anything yet. That'll be. I'm working with my buddy from Todd Johnson from Speculative Fiction. He ships stuff globally. We're going to work on anyone international. We're going to ship directly from China, from the factory internationally, to save on shipping costs for them too. So we're going to be working really hard on making sure this is as affordable as possible. So
excellent. So guys, that's a steal. I mean, think about it. These things are incredible. They look incredible, and these guys are going to make them amazing. So guys, link in the description. We will see you guys on Tuesday. Let's not forget that, guys. Thanks for everything. Thanks, David. Thanks, Erwin. Thank you, Hatter. Guys, hope you're all doing well. Staying safe. And as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. Good journey.
Bye, guys.
Geek proud.